Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Soon, I will be able to say Redemption Thursday. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do miss something, we got you covered. All 3 hours going to be posted. Upon the conclusion of the program, we'll throw that up on our website, ESPNTallahassee.com. We'll also throw it up on iTunes. So you can always find the show if you're itching for it. On Twitter, it's at @JCameron Show. WTSM app works for your mobile devices. Thanks for the emails. A lot of them been coming in. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. I'll get to some of those today. And if you want to watch on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. Hello, YouTubers. Ooh, my bald head is extra bright and shiny today, Tom. I don't know. It's freshly shorn. I shaved it down early this morning when I got up.
How often? Twice a week?
Yeah, about twice a week, sometimes 3.
Ooh, okay.
I get agitated. You know, I have hair. You know that. I have hair, and I could even grow it out. I think people would be surprised about how much hair I do have. But it would have this massive bald spot in the back that just would eat at me and bother me, and I think it would look ridiculous.
Yeah, you'd look like a friar, that kind of thing.
Right. So I shave it, and I finally found the exact right shaver. A couple of years back, about a year and a half back, and so it makes it so it's not so hard to do. I can get it done in about 10 minutes in the morning when I get up, and hop in the shower, and all that good stuff. But if you go past you have a window, and if it gets beyond that window, you go a little, an extra day longer, even 12 hours. The process becomes just laborious. Can't get this thing; it starts coming off, And so, so I'd rather shave it too early than too late.
I see.
Put it that way.
So what you're saying is what do you use? The old coconut
oil?
Oil? Yeah. I don't know if it was wax or oil.
It's oil, but I don't really have to do anything with this shaver I have. It's incredible. It's just like...
No, I was just wondering about the sheen, the shine.
No.
Is it the coconut?
No, it's just the glorious greasy nature of my head, I think, today. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I shaved it today, and I look up at the camera as we're doing the show here, and I go, good God, I'm going to blind somebody if they're watching me do this show. So that's all right, though. You could draw a picture on my head. There was a huge super fan. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't want to say he's dead, but I haven't seen him in the stands in a long time. He was famous. He had the Chief Osceola painted on his head for years. I'd go to games. I'd see him in the stands at all times. I mean, he was always there. Maybe it's since I got into the press and I'm not sitting in those seats at all times anymore. But it's also quite possible that he's dead. No disrespect. I mean, we're all going to die. I'm just saying I think he was older.
That's funny. We get detached in that way when we're in the press and we have access to the press box or through the connections of the radio station the luxury part of Doak Campbell or away venues. And you used to have, when you had season tickets, the crew that was always around you, the people you liked, the people you didn't like, but you could set your watch by them. So even when the person you didn't like missed a game, in a way you would miss them. Because you enjoyed judging them or being angry at them in every game. It was just kind of part of the time.
Or you actually enjoyed their company if they were decent people, right? I remember my dad has had, I've told you this, season tickets to FSU games since the 70s. So I started going at a very young age. And there are stages where people come and go, but my dad's seats were the same for a long time. Now, he's since moved on up the ladder. But the point would be, you got to know them and their families. I remember watching people come and go and graduate and move on, and I first met them when they were 10. It's ridiculous. You become a little family, and you get into your debates, and you share the celebrations and the moments of victory and the agony of defeat, as they say. I can remember being in those stands for 30-0 against Wake Forest, for checking in on my father, and then I went up on the roof and I chuckled because I said, "This is it. There's no coming back from this. He's going to have to fire his ass," meaning Jeff. There was no getting around that.
That was the funeral, wasn't it, or was it another time?
NC State was the funeral.
NC State was the funeral.
We lost on the road.
I always get that mixed up.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the frustration was Drew Weatherford and interceptions, and that game was just, I was done.
That was the first I heard of the show when I was here for undergrad, or at least the first I heard somebody else talk about it. I may have already been listening, but I didn't realize that it was the one and the same. I had no idea what the name of the show was. I just knew there was Florida State Sports Talk on in the afternoons when I was driving to class. But then the first thing that resonated with the students that I, came across was the funeral, the bagpipes. Everybody knew about that segment.
The students did.
The students knew about it. Absolutely, yes.
That was many years after I was gone, so I had no idea that resonated with the students. But that was a day I remember coming in and thinking, this is ridiculous. How can I explain to people just how ridiculous this is? I mean, I was wit's end, where you're just sitting there thinking, I know my fellow Noles feel this way, that we are just, God, dog it, man.
A simple monologue won't do it justice, how I feel in this moment. Yeah. In a way, that was the birth of montages forevermore, because Millar would do the montages, too.
Yeah. We had the bagpipes for that and the whole deal. That was tough times. But, I am decidedly more upbeat today as I come in on the 2nd of August and think about Florida State football. The coaches' poll, as you just heard in the local sports center, is upon us. Well, hey, now.
The coaches' poll.
And I will go through the coaches' poll and talk
poll. Oh!
And talk a little bit about where everybody is. But I saw where our good buddy Ira Schafel of warchant.com posted something that I think is pretty interesting.
With his new strong avatar on Twitter.
It's a great avatar. Best by far that he's had. He writes, Jimbo Fisher took over a 7-6 team in 2010, and FSU was ranked number 20 in his first preseason poll. Willie Taggart takes over a 7-6 team in 2018. FSU was number 19 in his first preseason poll. So there that is, the similarities. And now the question becomes, does he do what Jimbo Fisher did, which is rather quickly turn this into a dominant football program yet again, one that goes on to win a national championship and at one stretch win 29 straight games.
Yeah, the dynamics are very different for Willie than they were for Jimbo. First of all, Willie reaps the benefits of Jimbo modernizing the program, so there were more toys to play with in the beginning. There are better players here, for starters, for Willie's first season than there were for Jimbo's first season in 2010 as the head football coach. But now the Southeast is a much tougher place than it was in 2010 when Jimbo took over. The state of Florida is tougher. The region is tougher to recruit against.
Just start with Clemson.
Right.
I mean, Clemson's in your own division. That's a national superpower. When you consider how many times they've been to the college football playoff and the national championship, to go with a near-miss national championship as well against Alabama, and the wins over Ohio State and Oklahoma and any number of other prominent teams that they've been able to vanquish, then just from a recruiting standpoint, a talent standpoint, and an on-the-field success standpoint, that is the standard of the ACC right now, and that can't sit well with any of us. It just simply doesn't. Clemson does not have the cachet, college football's history in this conference or anywhere else, to be a better program than Florida State. And yet right now they are a better program than Florida State. It's really obvious and easy to say. It's just true. And if that stings, it should, because that ought not be the case. And that's the responsibility Willie Taggart and his staff are tasked with overcoming, right? Getting back to being the preeminent program of the ACC and one of, if not the best in all of college football, at least biannually. I mean, we pretty well expect that, hey, you ought to be a player for the college football playoff on the regular around here. It's that kind of school. You ought to be what Oklahoma is out of the Big 12 and certainly what Clemson is currently in the ACC, but maybe what Ohio State has been out of the Big 10. And I don't know if there's really anybody out of the Pac-12 you could say that about, But
in this circumstance, you're good offensive line play away from scaring Clemson this year. Because
without question. And I think that he's a little unlucky in this sense. You could catch Clemson pretty quickly, and you may not be that far from catching them anyhow at the skill positions. But if it weren't for the fact that your offensive line is your major question and the biggest strength of the team you're trying to catch is biggest strength is their defensive line. It is arguably, no, I don't think it's arguable, it's the best in the country. So their defensive line is the deepest and best in the country, and your biggest weakness is your offensive line. Not good since they're head-to-head, and it's where games are won and lost. So how do you mitigate that? What do you do to overcome that? Jimbo was really close, at least in the head-to-head battles with Clemson, despite that disadvantage of overcoming it each of the last few years. Those games were competitive and interesting.
Yeah, last year the one that was the most drastic in terms of our disadvantage in the offensive line, and yet somehow, we have the ball for a play with
a chance to take the lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're right. It's fascinating. I think everything about what this season is interesting. From the schedule, I mean, you've got a road game at Notre Dame, an historic locale that we're going to be going to and having a good time with. I'll tell you some details on that a little bit later from Game Day Excursions. You're going to want to listen to this. Yes, we're partnering with them, but it's a hell of a deal. So we'll talk about that later today. But you got that game, and that's always unique when it's on the schedule. Of course, you're hosting Clemson, so just a fun home schedule with that, and Virginia Tech to start things off. Of course, Florida at the end of the year, whatever they're going to be. So the schedule's interesting. On the road at Miami. And then, obviously, you have the uptick in enthusiasm from a coach that's embraced its traditions and the university's successes previous and what he thinks is possible and expressed that on the tour. Did a good job of relaying that message to boosters and alumni as he connected and did so in a way that is as much as you could ask for in an off season before ever having coached a game here. And then in addition, I think you can make an argument that Florida State's talented enough to surprise. That coaches poll came in today and Florida State's 19th. And I think a lot of us think that it's entirely possible they finish higher than 19th this year. That if you believe a lot of what went wrong last year had simply to do with effort and a lost locker room and not a lack of talent, then you think, listen, 10 wins is distinctly possible even with a really difficult schedule. Now, Vegas doesn't see it that way, but I could see where they would be misled and where a lot of people looking at Florida State from the outside would be misled. I do think that the product on the field is going to be infinitely better than it was each of the last 2 years, and yet record-wise, it may not be that drastically different. This team lost 6 games a year ago, and the team itself could be a far cry better this year than it was last and still lose 4 games. So
it'd be disappointing, but yes, absolutely. Given the schedule, yes.
Yeah, I think it could happen. I mean, you're on the road against a really, really talented and deep defense against Miami. You're hosting Clemson, who will be heavily favored against you. That's 2 games. You're on the road against a really, really good Notre Dame team. You're not going to be favored in any one of those games that I just mentioned. So there's 3 in which you're not favored to win. It's not a shock if you lose. It's not even something that you would look at and say, well, that's ridiculous. No, you'd have to say, well, couldn't overcome the odds this time around. I mean, have to get them next year. So that leaves one bad game. One game where you have a misstep, and Jimbo had one of those every year he coached except for that run of 29 games, which was remarkable, but that was the Jameis era that helped him overcome a lot of things. That said...
Well, we had a lot of flat games in 14, and the 13 title game was flat for coaching purposes, at least in big part.
But what I'm saying is that even at the height of his successes, we watched a game a year where you'd go, talent for talent, Florida State is overwhelmingly better than Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Virginia. Keep naming the losses that make you scratch your head. Mm-hmm. So it's not outlandish to watch a team misstep. See Clemson to Syracuse a year ago or to Pitt or whatever game you want to look at. Even the better teams find a way to lose a game that you think, what in the world? That's why I say it wouldn't be hard to lose 4 games and still be infinitely better than you were a year ago. If you do lose the 3 games that everybody expects you to lose, then that means you can only have one misstep to get to 8-4.
I would be disappointed if we went 0-3 in those 3 games. You got to have at least one of them. The Miami one is the biggest one to circle there because of quarterback play.
Yeah, Malik Rozier isn't great, and I agree with that, but their defense, I think, will be really good. And they did win 10 games last year with Malik Rozier, who wasn't very good. And I think the defense is just as good, if not better, than it was a year ago at Miami. So they won't reap the benefit as many turnovers as they were able to produce a year ago, because some of that is just turnover luck. But they play fast, they play downhill, they hit you, and they are opportunistic.
They do. I'm interested to see the defensive line play this year from Miami. It's just it seems like there's a lot of grandfathering in of last year's good graces, and I'm not saying that they're not talented. All I'm saying is, are they the elite?
Well,
are they a
their
top 10?
linebacking core is
Of course, their linebacking core is, but defensive line sets up the angles, and they set up the lanes for the linebackers, and I just want to see how good that group is. Of course, yes, linebacker untouchable. There's no doubt there, but that's one of the fascinating storylines I look forward to seeing, especially in that LSU game week 1, just to see how game they really are.
I was just about to say, you don't have to wait long, partner. That's the beauty of this week 1 and that first go-round.
And that's really the only snapshot you get, because I think the biggest opponent they play after that before us is North Carolina. So
sucks.
That's not going to be much resistance at all there.
That's another prediction. Goodbye, Larry Fedora, after this year. Clown show.
Take the under on them. Remember yesterday?
Sweet Jesus, Larry Fedora. What a clown he came across as at the ACC kickoff. You should have seen the reporters. Just everybody looking at each other.
They were aghast.
Oh, my man's doubling and tripling down on stupidity over and over and over again, as if football's the key to America's success. I mean, he sounded like an idiot.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
He went that far,
Oh,
huh?
absolutely. He said if football is I'll find the exact quote. You were that's right. You weren't.
I was out of the country.
I'll pull it up. You're gonna laugh. He says if that football's under attack and if football goes away, there goes America. Oh, yeah, buddy. He's exactly what you think he is. Insane. It was awesome.
Keep on rocking in that free roll,
I
man.
was laughing my ass off. Oh, let's double and triple down here, partner. You sound dumber by the second.
If I lose my job, we lose football in America. And if we lose football in America, we lose our freedom. So if I lose my job, we lose our freedom.
Yes, it was fun. You would have. I mean, it was. It was also fun to watch everybody kind of go, "Holy moly! Listen to this lunatic." Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero Turn Mowers.
VGC 042221. CCC 049350.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. You're the kind of person who believes the best deals on cars are when you buy a pre-owned car that just happens to be in mint condition? Well, right now is the time. Kraft Nissan is the place for you to look at your next car. Here's the deal. Kraft Nissan has changed over our entire rental fleet. So all of the cars that were in the rental fleet last year are now priced to sell. These cars are Nissan certified and come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile Nissan warranty, plus Kraft Nissan's exclusive lifetime warranty. Our certified pre-owned vehicles also come with 24-hour roadside assistance, free Carfax history report, free trial of XM Sirius radio, and best of all, Nissan gives you a $450 rebate. When is the last time you heard of a manufacturer giving you a rebate on a pre-owned vehicle? Never. Choose from Altimas, Rogues, Maximas, Pathfinders, or Titan trucks. And I promise you, you will not find a better price on a practically new car. Plus, all Nissan certified pre-owned vehicles qualify for new car financing rates. Stop by Kraft Nissan today, Mahan Drive, between Academy Sports and Costco.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
The lowest prices on the best bathrooms are at the Home Depot's Summer Kitchen and Bath event. Update your bathroom with your choice of exclusive Moen faucets that won't open the tap on your budget. Hensley and Darcy bath faucets in spot resist brushed nickel finish are just $79 a piece. A better bathroom starts with a lower price, and it all starts at the Summer Kitchen and Bath event, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through September 19th while supplies last.
With a loaded roster of young stars, the Braves are going to have a fun summer with some huge National League battles.
Hit high and deep to right field. Did he get it? I guess he got it. Way out of here to right center field with room to spare.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by AmeriGas Propane of Tallahassee, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So I mentioned it a moment ago, and let me mention it again here because some of you asked during the break, so let's get to it. Obviously, football season is nearly upon us. You start making plans, and I want to give you guys a heads up on something. If you're planning to go to that Notre Dame game, and I know a lot of us are, we here on the Jeff Cameron Show are, in fact, going, of course, and we've partnered with Game Day Excursions to pretty much handle the planning for us. They're doing something called the Seminole South Bend Takeover, and it's going to be good. It's a double dip. You go to Chicago for the weekend, and then you let Game Day Excursions take it from there. It's a turnkey experience. I'll just lay it out here for you. You get a premium bus charter transportation to and from Chicago to South Bend. You leave Saturday morning after a bottomless mimosa / Bloody Mary pregame experience, if that's your cup of tea. We're all meeting at the Field Museum there in Chicago.
That is my spicy cup of tea right there.
Been there many times. Good times. And return after the game that night. You get to South Bend, and you are welcome into a fully prepared and stocked 4+ hour tailgate on Notre Dame's campus. And that includes a free game day meal, free beer, live entertainment. some giveaways. I don't know what those are, but all that stuff I laid out there is better than any of the giveaways, I'm sure.
Unless they're our giveaways.
That's true. Game Day Excursions hosted a tailgate a year ago in South Bend. If you watched the Georgia-Notre Dame game, you remember this because Georgia fans did it up last year. Many of them, over 5,000 of them, did so with Game Day Excursions. They know the lay of the land there. Game Day Excursions also has a block of rooms. It's set up at the W Hotel on Lakeshore. I've stayed there a couple different times. It's right there, downtown Chicago. You love it. And for Noel fans exclusively, the block rate's just $189 a night. It's a huge discount. There's also a party on Friday night at Hopsmith Tavern, which is hosted by our friends at warchant.com. So go to GameDayExcursions.com, secure your reservation today. Use the code JCS at checkout. I'm going to save you $10, all right, for every ticket that you purchase. It's code JCS at checkout at GameDayExcursions.com. The 25th anniversary of the game of the century. I remember it well, sadly. Join us in Chicago and at Notre Dame with Game Day Excursions for the Noles South Bend takeover. Good times. Excursions.com. GameDayExcursions.com. Yeah, man. That's not going to suck.
Well, and you have options, too. So if you already have your arrangements set for Chicago, you've got your place to lay down your head. Well, it could just be the bus ticket and the tailgate experience. So the W option is just an above and beyond option. But $189 a night in Chicago, you really can't beat that, especially for a big weekend in November. Like there is the Bears are in town. Notre Dame's playing a big game against Florida State. So the hotel rates will be kind of through the roof.
I'm going to go to that Bears-Lions game the next day. It's not that that's a big game, but it's a noon game. I'm in Chicago. I've been to Soldier Field. I like it. I liked it more before they changed it and made it like a spaceship. But nonetheless, it's a fun place to see a game because Bears fans are awesome.
Apparently, that's next to the Field Museum, right?
Yeah.
So when you go Saturday, you can see Soldier Field if you haven't seen it before, like me.
Well, and I wish you could have seen it before they added the stupid thing on top. But anyhow, I hate to be a sour puss. I'm just letting you know it was classy. Back in the day, it's just now it's
gritted your teeth and said that.
Now you look at it, you're like, the spaceship landed on Soldier Field. What the hell are they doing? I don't know why they did that.
What is he doing?
Yeah, I would have said to the architect, sir, this is like classic Greek architecture, and you're like, oh, let's put this oblong, silly. It's just ridiculous.
Is that your favorite fan base, not named Bucks fans for the NFL?
I like Bears fans a lot, man, because it's almost collegial. And there's an earnestness to Bears fans, really to Chicagoans in general, that I greatly appreciate. And it's a cool-ass city. I like Chicago. I couldn't live in Chicago because it's 2 degrees right now. But it is, I'm kidding, but it's bitterly cold. I've been in Chicago in the dead of winter on a few occasions, and I thought, nope, not going to do it. That ain't for me.
Well, that's like when I was in Minneapolis last year. It was hot. It was in the 90s. I didn't get any reprieve whatsoever from the Tallahassee heat. It may have been hotter in Minneapolis. But when you walk through the downtown area, you can sense how cold the buildings get. You can just feel it. It's almost like it never goes away through the brick. And Syracuse was the same way, too, around their airport.
I was in Syracuse, at Syracuse, on the campus in the mid-90s in the dead of winter. And I remember thinking, yep, nope, not going to do this. Not where I'd want to go to school.
Especially if Marvin Harrison was on campus.
Well, I wouldn't have asked him any questions. Of course, none of us knew at the time that Pimp Hand Marvin would have just beat your ass with the quickness for asking for an autograph.
Nobody would have heard from you again.
No.
Pre-cell phones.
It would have been it. So some emails came back at Jay Cameron Show, @_Tom Lang. Fred the Head died of a heart attack in 92. No, Brent, not that Fred the Head. There was a Fred the Head who wasn't that old. He was younger than 40 who kicked it in 92. The Fred the Head I'm talking about is the one that Corey sent me at Jay Cameron Show on my feed, you can see here, in which he's taking a picture with him, and it was in 2014. So most assuredly, this individual, whom I am speaking about, this is the guy that I thought of as the bald-headed FSU paint your noggin guy. And he may very well have passed on. I think he did recently. But the picture that was sent to me was from 2014. So
we can confirm he was with us in 2014.
Yeah, he was at the national championship game in 2014. That's where the picture was taken.
Oh, okay. So he was out in Pasadena for the Auburn game in January of 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'd creeped into the year at least. I don't know how much longer he lasted, but he got to see a national championship win.
Yeah, it's rather morbid, but it's that's your department, right? I wonder how many days were shaved off of people's existences with the 2014 title game, the way it went, and the stress of that game, and then the whole 14 season that followed. If you're a diehard Noles fan and you're getting up there, I wonder how many days that took away because of the imminent stress you felt every single week watching our team.
I don't think you can really quantify that. I don't know, because you have a lot more stress about even if you're well-adjusted, you have a lot more stress about things in your life that have nothing to do with football. There's anxiety associated with big moments in games that are coming down to the wire. I don't know how much that impacts your longevity, as opposed to, say, real stress about the imminent dangers your children face or your parents aging or whatever it might be.
You're saying well-adjusted, but there are a lot of fans of every team, not just Nole fans,
of course,
that are not well-adjusted.
When was the last? I'm a passionate fan of my teams, all of them, everything from the Pirates in baseball, obviously the Noles and football in college sports, but the NFL, the Bucks, any team that I've ever loved, the Lightning, whatever. You love the Lightning. Probably you love the Lightning outside of the Noles more than anything else that you love.
The Mets are up there, but they've done such a good job of
alienating you,
stealing my soul. They're doing what the Knicks do to a lot of people.
The Mets really are. I felt bad for you, and I know I've told you this over the years. An inordinate number of Mets fans. There's a Mets connection in my family.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a fondness in my heart for the Mets because of that, and they really have done an over-the-top job of really pushing you guys away, just making it so it's hard to care about them.
I was close. If they traded DeGrom, I would have said I'm washing my hands till next April, and then we'll check in then.
So back to what I was saying. I don't remember. I think I would have been in my very early – well, it's the 25th anniversary this year of the game of the century that we lost. And I remember the comeback in that game and going from feeling like we're going to get blown out to, oh, my God, we could steal this thing. What a comeback. And living and dying with every play and feeling like the comeback was going to happen until the interception occurred. And I think probably I cared too much then. But, again, I was 21, 22 years old. I mean, I'm thinking that was probably the last time. I don't remember.
When did you break the phone?
Well, that was the Pirates and Braves. That's the Sid Bream play. So it's right around the same time.
Okay.
But that's shattering the phone. You'd classify that as caring too much?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I did bash the bejesus out of that phone. That phone shattered into a million pieces right before my roommate's eyes as he said, "Don't, that's my phone."
And the phone said, "What the hell, dude?"
Man. Yeah, that is caring too much. I had a friend who listens to this show and graduated from Florida State Film School and is still a dear friend of mine who is also a Pirate fan, and after that game proceeded to rip the closet door at his apartment off its hinges. It was a very tough loss. You have to understand.
So you actually are okay with this?
You have to understand the Pirates had years worth of the buildup to where we were certain we were going to the World Series, and then you're in the lead in the ninth. It's yours. This is it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was 2006 with the Mets. I think that's the last one that left me despondent. I was angry this year with the Lightning in Game 7 because they messed around a little too much with the Capitals, and so they deserved what they got, which is 40 minutes of outplaying the other team, and now they're losing. In a way, I was like, good. That's what. That's how it works.
But yeah, here's the thing: when they gave up the goal in the first freaking millisecond that it started, I went, "Well, we're not winning."
Well,
this.
but it's 1-0, and they have an open net, and there's nobody between Yanni and the net. Yanni Gordy still misses.
I know he does, but you remember the crazy stat makes no sense. Game 7's goal 1, road team.
Sure,
you're just not winning. I knew it. I'd already resigned myself. I was like, "Oh, well, that's not what you do there." As soon as that was a freaking shot. I mean,
it knuckled on Vassy. Yeah.
As
but
soon as that happened,
06 bases loaded, nobody out. You're down a run.
No,
it's for the right to go to the World Series. You're going to beat the Tigers.
I remember watching it. Yeah.
You're going to win the World Series.
Yes, you are.
And all you got to do is tie it, because you go to extras. We're going to win this thing. Oh, we are. We had the better lineup, so the odds are in your favor.
They are, but you want to take the lead there. You want to go ahead and.
Well, sure. It's bases loaded, nobody out.
You gotta get somebody in.
God bless. That still is. It tightens the chest a little bit.
Everybody's got that moment. I mean, when I'm a little kid, really little kid, I hated the 49ers and I liked the Cowboys, and they lose on the catch. And all these years later, Dwight Clark dies this year, and I can know that I fully appreciate having watched that live. But at the time, as that ball goes over Everson Wall's outstretched hand, and the ball is caught, me and my buddy Luis Morales were devastated.
I think one of the most devastating losses ever was the Bucs and the Rams, the NFC title game in '99. That hurt.
Well, the Bert Emanuel play.
And because nobody stopped the Rams all year until Tampa, nobody stopped that team. And we had a defensive game plan from heaven, and it was executed to perfection, and yet it didn't matter. And a couple of key plays went their way. That one, I was only 12, 13.
My heartbreak from that game involves Derek Brooks lighting up Torrey Holt, caving those ribs in, letting him know what time it was, and telling him about it. And the Bucs defense carrying the day against a machine that couldn't be stopped on that AstroTurf, and having it be for naught. Yes, that one still hurts.
The 14 Rose Bowl didn't hurt as much, A, because we won the title there the year before, and B, we'd messed around so much that season that you thought at some point.
And he just turned it over so often that you're like, listen, you're not going to be able to overcome this. Mariota ran that offense exceptionally well, and they played it at breakneck speed, so our defense was out there too long. And, when Dalvin fumbles the ball on that third down long run, and you're just, that's it, man. And then besides, you and I snuck into a party that we weren't supposed to be in and began to drink. That helped.
That did help.
That was fun. Ryan just sent us a very interesting tweet. I'm going to read it when we come back, and I know I didn't get to the coaches poll because that's how I operate. I often forget what I'm supposed to be doing in the sense that I get carried away talking about something else. I don't forget.
Devastating losses are a black hole, man. It's like clicking through YouTube videos. That's what, when you think about devastating losses, it's hard to come back.
Well, I will look at the coaches poll when we come back, Tom.
Ooh.
But I will also answer this question because, oddly enough, Ryan's inquiry in this tweet is something I was having a conversation with somebody about last night, and we were both intrigued, and I think a lot of people will be. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers. TNT.
Freedom isn't free. It comes at a high price. And Gain Street Pies is offering this heartfelt word of thanks to all the men and women who serve in our armed forces, in law enforcement, and as first responders, and to all of their families who support their commitment to all of us. These hometown heroes who stand at freedom's gate, who are willing to pay the ultimate price if necessary in protecting us and defending our nation's freedom.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Matlow, co-owner of Gain Street Pies in Tallahassee. I want to take this moment to thank all of you, our hometown heroes. Thank you for your devotion and for helping to make Tallahassee such a wonderful place to live, to work, and raise our families.
Here's to you, hometown heroes, from Gain Street Pies in Tallahassee, on Gain Street in Midtown, and now on Capitol Circle Northeast at Easterwood Drive. Stop in today or find them online at GainStreetPies.com.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
The holidays are coming. Well, in a few months, and that's why now is the time to shower up with a beautiful custom bath or shower enclosure from Widden Glass. Don't wait for the holiday rush. Widden Glass will take care of you this summer to your complete satisfaction. They've been helping to design and install bath and shower enclosures for Tallahassee homeowners for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with real glass people, experienced, reliable professionals. Widden's top-of-the-line bath and shower enclosures provide style and luxury at an affordable price. With the holidays coming, that means family, and that means now is the time to shower up with style.
Call today. Widden Glass, the real glass people. 222-5781 or online at widdenglass.com. WHIDDON. Widden, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. 222-5781.
Why shop Kohl's this weekend? Because everyone gets $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. Only at Kohl's do you earn Kohl's Cash on everything. Even our biggest national brands like Levi's, Adidas, JanSport, Carter's, Nike, Fitbit, and Under Armour. Kohl's Cash, only at Kohl's. And Florida shops tax-free this Friday through Sunday. Earn Kohl's Cash August 3rd through 12th. Redeem August 13th through 19th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
At ACE, we believe there's nothing better than helping kids. That's why we've been proud to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals for over 25 years. This Friday through Sunday, get our 5-gallon bucket and 20% off almost anything that fits inside when you donate $5 to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And like ACE, CMN hospitals are local, so the money you donate helps kids near you.
ACE is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Offer valid at participating stores on regular price merchandise only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. So first things first, let's tackle these items. Great song. Coach's poll, Tom. It came out today. Hey now.
The coach's poll.
Oh! Is that the first?
No, we got one in the first segment. We got one coach's poll in there, yeah.
Yes, we did.
The coach's poll.
I think the over is 10 on that. Over under.
Oh, that's easy.
Alabama 1, not a shock. Clemson 2. Not a shock. Could argue Georgia ahead of number 3 Ohio State, especially now. Georgia comes in at 4, though. Oklahoma at 5. You know, they're so talented that even though you're breaking in a new quarterback and that conference sucks. Okay.
I think it's the latter. You know, I mean, Baker was...
yeah, but they're loaded everywhere else, though.
You think that the quarterback play is... They've got a battle on their hands with the baseball kid and the...
Yeah, but here's the thing. That team, offensive line, defensive line, secondary, running back, and they're really good. You just need a kid to be average, and they're going to win a ton of games, especially in that conference.
The D-line is good enough. I mean, you know, they drop 45 on them every week. It seems like every other Big 12 team.
If you play in the Big 12, you got to change the way you view scores and yardage and all that other stuff. I mean, listen, there's no doubt that an elite Big 12 defense is not the same as Alabama or Clemson. I got you. But Oklahoma, in terms of sheer talent, quality of recruit brought in, you're talking about elite level players. And we see that. It's played out in the draft that way, too. There are a lot of great defensive players there. I just think, you know, it's funny. I think some of it, too, is not just the league you play in and the style you play there. But I also think, again, look at what they ran last year on offense and how they lit people up. And listen, they scored on Georgia, whose defense is not well. I mean, whose defense was great.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma could score on everybody. And I think that if that's your identity, no matter how talented you are on defense, I think that carries over.
But it's fair to say, though, that you know you can ask a legitimate question about transcendent generational quarterback being gone. All right, how limited will they be offensively speaking? They could still be very good, but not elite of elite like they were.
Right.
And what does that do in a league where you have to score a lot?
Yeah. Well, pull up Oklahoma's schedule. We'll go through it together here in a second. Washington is at 6. I like Washington. I like Washington at quarterback. I love Washington secondary. Washington and Auburn game 1. Auburn's got receivers. Washington has got a nice secondary. Hello now. Wisconsin at 7. You know, Wisconsin's reaping the benefits of the fact that they won 13 games a year ago. Now, I'll grant you they got beat by Ohio State, and that would have been the one to convince people that they were for real. But they are seeing an uptick in talent at Wisconsin, and they are now wildly consistent enough to get out from under the tent of suspicion. Wisconsin's good, period. They just are. And if you have to play them there, you have a problem. That's a place, by the way, Tom, if you haven't been to Madison, go. It's awesome. It's a really cool place. I will say, I mean, again, if you had to live there, while it's a lovely city and a cool place to go, again, weather. But it's you watch, how many times a year do you find yourself flipping around on a Saturday night and Wisconsin's hosting a game and they're doing the hoppy hop and the place is going nuts and you think, that looks like fun.
I feel like I always see them during the day when I'm flipping around at noon and I'm looking for something.
Watch them at night. It's great. They go nuts.
Interesting schedule this year for Wisconsin. They traveled.
It's a pretty brutal one.
Yeah, they traveled to Iowa, which is just always dangerous. It doesn't matter who you are for whatever reason, especially if it's an 8 p.m. kick. But then on October 13th, they traveled to the Big House to play Michigan. And then later in the year.
What a war.
November the 10th, which is the day we'll be at Notre Dame. That's cool.
Maybe damn Skippy.
Traveling to Happy Valley to play Penn State.
What a game that'll be. Wisconsin got to avoid all the difficult teams a year ago. Now they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Iowa, was that last year? Does Iowa, do they avoid everybody this year? Pull up Iowa. Now you got me Big Ten crazy over here. Anyhow, Wisconsin 7. Miami at number 8. I love Miami's defense, but as much as I like Miami's defense, I think very little of Malik Rozier.
No, Iowa doesn't dodge any bullets. They play Wisconsin, and then they have to travel to Penn State in late October. Other than that, it looks, solid, but the game at Penn State, I mean, yeah.
Another stadium to go see a game at. Great fans. Penn State 9, Auburn 10. There's your coach's poll, top 10. Notre Dame resides just outside of that at number 11, followed by Michigan State, Stanford, Michigan, Southern Cal, TCU, Virginia Tech, Mississippi State, and then Florida State comes in at number 19. I think Florida State will exceed that expectation. West Virginia at 20, and rounding out the top 25 is Texas, Boise State, UCF, LSU, Oklahoma State. needless to say, 19 through 25. Think about this for a second. Florida State, new head coach, very difficult schedule, team of intrigue, could play way above that preseason ranking, but schedule may prohibit them from really showcasing just how good they're about to be. We'll see. Offensive line, a question mark. West Virginia, Dana Holgerson, we're waiting, but you got a quarterback now. Texas, all right, Herman. Got to start getting stops. Got to get some stops.
I think the defense is going to be fine.
They did, and they played a lot better last year, and in the critical moments, they seem to have been lacking, although quarterback's been a problem too.
Quarterback has been a big-time issue. That's the number one thing. I think that defense will be good enough, especially it'll look like a fish out of water in that league.
Boise State, I never believe in. UCF without Scott Frost, we'll see. And LSU, Ed Orgeron, near and dear to everybody's heart in the world of college football, one of the great characters of the game. Impossible not to enjoy listening to him tell a story. Not a real good head football coach. Probably going to lose his job. And number 25 is Oklahoma State, which Oklahoma State has entered into the largely underappreciated territory in college football, in which Gundy, I'm a man, I'm 40, wins 10 games pretty frequently, and yet we go, it's Oklahoma State, whatever.
Yeah, even if they score 60 on Oklahoma, that means that Oklahoma scores 65.
Right, they don't win the game, right.
Yeah.
Screw them. Happens. It's a
touchdown Cowboys.
Yeah, you're about to give one up here in a few seconds.
Yes.
And that's exactly
Go to the concession stand when the other team has the ball.
You got time.
We know what happens.
All right, so that other question, which I'm going to carry on over into the next hour, like a pro.
We also have Oklahoma's schedule to get to as well.
So much to do. At Jay Cameron Show, ponder this for a second. I do want to get back to it. The Oregonian wrote about Taggart. Great recruiter, struggles with tactical adjustments, as proof cited being shut out in the second half of 4 different Pac-12 games last year. Question, are you concerned, or do you think it was the loss of his quarterback, and is this a misleading stat? I'll give you that answer next hour. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers.
Cali Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They'll greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much. Way too much.
So, Jeff.
Yeah.
I run into these ladies named Kathy and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
They love you, by the way.
Oh, they're smart people already.
Oh, my gosh. And darling ladies. They were at Bumpus, and they were telling me how they went to Gordo's and that it wasn't open yet. And I said, no, we are open, ma'am.
I could have assured them that it is most definitely open.
This week, we'll be in process of moving. Now, I know it's sad. I've been there for...
I'm a little emotional. I love the old Gordo's. You're telling me the new Gordo's is going to be better, though?
Well, the Gordo's in Market Square, the old Gordo's on Pensacola Street.
It's not going anywhere.
Still open. Still open, going to be there.
For life.
I hope so, God willing. And if you're on this side of town, you can always come eat at Bumpus.
New one is open when? A week, 2 weeks, something like that?
I'm shooting for a week, Jeff.
All right, I like it.
Shooting for a week and
same
maybe
great
two.
Food, same mahi, new drink specials,
new
more
drink
beer?
specials, more beers. We'll have a patio.
All right.
We're going to have, with fans and everything. It's going to be highfalutin, Jeff.
Highfalutin, a new Gordo's in a week or two. And in the meantime, go to Bumpus.
In the meantime, please come check out Bumpus.
All right. Yay, new Gordo's. We'll see you soon.
Right on.
Are you tired of getting the same two-piece kits? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener in DeWalt have your answer. Buy a 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit with 2 4-amp-hour batteries and receive a free 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit. That's correct. You get 2 DeWalt 3-speed impact kits for the price of 1, only at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. While you're there, check out the power of freedom. FlexVolt 60-volt tools from chainsaws to string trimmers, blowers, and even compressors. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Giants are now talking with wideout Odell Beckham Jr. about a new contract. That, according to ESPN's Jordan Renan. Currently, Beckham is playing on the final year of his rookie contract for $8.5 million. Last summer, Beckham said he wanted to be the highest-paid player in the NFL. One day after cutting wideout Jordan Matthews, the Patriots signed free agent Eric Decker. He played for the Titans last year. The first NFL preseason game kicks off tonight in Canton, Ohio. The Ravens and Bears in the Hall of Fame game. Ohio State football coach Urban Meyer is now on administrative leave as the university tries to sort out the domestic violence allegations against former assistant coach Zach Smith and whether Meyer knew about those allegations. ESPN Big Ten reporter Dan Murphy.
At this point, less of a legal or a procedural issue as sort of an ethical thing at this point of whether or not they needed to say anything, and especially because of how adamantly Urban Meyer denied things a week ago in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days. The question is if it turns out that it's clear that he wasn't telling the truth at that point, that might be his biggest issue.
Dan Murphy on Golick and Wingo. The preseason coaches poll is out today. Alabama is ranked number 1, Clemson is second, and Ohio State third. Golf in the first round of the Bridgestone Invitational. Kyle Stanley, the leader, at 7 under. Tiger Woods 3 shots back after a 4 under 66. He bogeyed his final hole today. Technical fouls are way up this season in the WNBA. A total of 92 techs called before the All-Star break. That's 11 more than all of last season. League Director of Officiating Monty McCutcheon says there was not an emphasis to call more technicals this season.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Looking at Oregon, Nebraska, 42-35 last year. I'm looking at 77-21 over Southern Utah, 49-13 over Wyoming. Looking at a 35-point output against Arizona State, but that's a bad loss, 37-35. Go through these here in a second. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Go ahead and email the program if you like. It's JCS at 979 ESPNradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app. Good for your mobile devices. Yeah, I mean, there were, 5 or 6 games where Willie was missing his starting quarterback last year. They did win 8. What would concern you a little bit, and again, when you're missing your starting quarterback, that is a problem and turned out to be a big problem for them. But, Tom, going back and looking last year, and again, the program he inherited is not one that Mark Helfrich inherited, but can't be getting shut down 31-14 by UCLA. Can't score 10 points against Washington State.
I don't know. I mean, Herbert, I'm looking at Herbert's game log here, his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't play the UCLA game.
Nope.
He didn't play the Washington State game.
Nope.
And the depth situation at Oregon, as you're talking about, he inherited a program where I don't know that there was any to speak of.
Sure.
So you might be just completely behind the 8 ball and have no prayer in a situation like that. We think about Oregon as the 2014 team that beat us in the Rose Bowl because that's the last time we had to deal with them. But a lot of things happened between then and when Willie took over.
No, they were a mess. They got blown out by Washington 38-3, but Washington was a really good team a year ago. But the 7 points against Stanford, go through the games Herbert played in.
All right, so you want to don't even bother with Southern Utah. The Nebraska game, which was one of the first ones that I can remember last year.
They won 42-35, yeah. And by the way, that's a game that I have great memories of because all those points seemingly were scored in the first half, and the over-under was 65, and I had the over, as you recall.
I think I did too. That's why.
Yeah. We remember it well.
I remember this game.
Sure, yeah.
Herbert completed 25 of 33 for 365, 3 scores, and a pick.
Yep.
A rating of 192 if you care about such things. 5
against
carries for 31 yards.
Wyoming, 49-13. He played in that game.
Yeah, he was 18 of 29 for 250, a score and a pick, 9 carries for 30 yards and a touchdown.
They lost to Arizona State 37-35.
This was a bad day for Herbert completion percentage-wise. Usually he's living in the mid to upper 60s. Not the case against Arizona State. 19 out of 35. That's 54.3%. 3 touchdowns against no picks, however, and 10 carries for 36 yards and a score.
The concern from the tweeter was that it was a bad second half for Willie in many cases, but they scored 21 points in the second half on the road against Arizona State. That wasn't the example there.
The Cal game, I guess, is the one he got hurt. He completed 7 of 8 passes for 86 yards, a touchdown, and he had 1 carry for 7 yards, and that also was a score.
They won going away 45-24. Then they get beat badly in the following week after he is out by Washington State 33-10. That is a game that in the second half they were shut out, but he didn't play in that game.
That's correct, yeah. So, I mean, you could go through the schedule. I'll give you the outline real quick. The Cal game has to be the one he got hurt because that's the 30th of September. He does not come back until the Arizona game, and that is November the 18th.
And they score 48 points upon his return in the games that he is missing, including Washington State. They score 10 points. They score 7 points. They score 14 points. They do score 41 against Utah, which is stunning. But then they score just 3 against Washington. Then he comes back, and they score 48, 69, and 28.
Nice.
But Willie's not there for the Las Vegas poll. By the way, nicely noted. So, yeah, I think that might be a bit misleading.
So Herbert for the year. And he completed 72% of his passes at the bowl game against Boise State. So, sorry, I can't take those out. But he completed 67.5% for the season. He threw for almost 2,000 yards in the games he did play, with 15 touchdowns against 5 interceptions. And he carried the ball 44 times for 183 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. And that was a kid who really wasn't mobile. So even a quarterback who is more statuesque was good for 5 scores on the ground in this offense and a high completion percentage rate. And his yards per attempt were pretty high, too.
At Jay Cameron Show, at _Tom Lang, Jeffrey Meyer game was my devastating loss. O's have literally never recovered. Ooh, without question. That is highway robbery, and I never celebrated that kid, but rather wanted him harmed. At Jay Cameron Show, in your defense, a shattered phone back then could be replaced with a $1995 purchase. It wasn't like you busted up an $800 iPhone 10. If there had been $1 million chandelier hanging from the ceiling when the ball went under Buckner's glove, it would have been ground glass.
Not the wild pitch, though, huh? It was Buckner's glove?
Well, there were some decisions made prior to the Buckner play, but that play does encapsulate the futility of the end.
The fact that he's in there, too.
Yeah, why is he in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, answers. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see. I was talking with somebody last night who's friends with people at Oregon. Now, I will also tell you this. A dear friend of mine who is back on the West Coast but came here for his wife's, she was getting her PhD. He went to Oregon. He's an Oregon grad, and he is a diehard Oregon fan, and he loved Willie and actually cursed me a blue streak. When we were able to bring in Willie, he thought that Willie had been the right answer. He was loving what he was seeing. He was noting that they were moving in the right direction. In fact, long before we ever realized Willie could be on the horizon, because we didn't know Jimbo was going to check out, and nobody could have known that things were going to play out that way. In the middle of the season last year, even when they had some bumps in the road because Herbert was out, I was getting texts from this guy who is a knowledgeable football fan and tuned into all things Oregon, and he was loving Willie Taggart. Thus, he was all the more devastated when it leaked out that we were interested.
So far, so good for them, though. I mean, if you're just looking at the recruiting rankings, which is all you can do because you don't know how game day-wise they're going to look without Willie's influence on the sideline. But, I mean, they're a top 10 class right now, so they're picking up with the momentum that Willie had started for them. And they're not really known as a top 10 recruiting class program, not even when Chip Kelly was doing things at the height of his power.
Yeah, what they did was overpay to sustain the upward mobility that had begun last year under Willie. So they overpaid Mario Cristobal to be the head coach, which would, he's not a head coach, but okay.
Even then, though, for a head coach, it's not that big of a salary.
It's not that bad, but where they overpaid was for Levitt to stay, and they were all in on that because they needed to establish continuity. What is interesting at Oregon is that the thought is that Levitt and Cristobal hate one another. They don't get along in any way, shape, or form, and Levitt can't wait to leave, but he wasn't going to turn down more than $1 million to stay, and he's waiting on the Kansas State job. The problem is this. Bill Snyder wants his kid to take over at Kansas State, and Kansas State officials don't want Bill Snyder's kid to take over, but Bill Snyder is the only reason Kansas State matters in any way, shape, or form, because prior to him, they've never mattered at all. He made them matter. Then he walked away. They sucked immediately upon him walking away, so he came back to fix it and did. They owe everything to Bill Snyder, but he's old, and they're ready to move on, but they can't kick him out. They can't kick him out the door, and he is, digging in the heels for his kid to take over. And meanwhile, behind the scenes, Kansas State folk want Levitt. Because he went to Kansas State. He's a Kansas State guy. Levitt wants to be there, but he's got to let it all play out. I love these things. I love this soap opera.
Well, and if it doesn't, the interesting thing is if you look at the salary comparisons between Cristobal and Levitt, it looks like Levitt is the Oregon insurance policy if Cristobal falls on his face as a head coach, because Levitt has at least proven that he can do it to some degree.
Oh, maybe USF, he did it big time. USF.
Right. Not to the Power 5 level. That's all I'm saying.
No, but,
and it's been some time. But if you're going to pay him as much money as you do if you're Oregon relative to Cristobal's salary as the head coach, yeah, you have yourself one hell of an insurance policy.
Yeah, it's fun. These are the kinds of discussions in college football that draw us in. These are the more fun and engaging and debatable subject matter that we like to get into, not the Urban Meyer stories, not the ones where a head coach turns a blind eye to domestic violence not once but twice and then lies about it, allegedly. Although there's more than enough evidence to suggest this is not allegedly at all. And it's a matter of whether or not they can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, I suppose, that he definitely knew. It seems like a stretch to suggest that his wife knew and discussed it with the other wives of the other coaches, and that there is text evidence that the other coaches all knew. Thus, everybody on that staff knew but Urban Meyer? Okay. I don't know that he knew, But it's hard to find a way to describe that situation that doesn't see him having an understanding of what happened in 2015. Awfully difficult. We're not in a court of law. I mean, look, man, the guy knew. You know it and I know it. We all know it. But if Ohio State decides he's too valuable to get rid of, he's a 3-time national champion, he's only lost 8 games at Ohio State, and they're loaded again, they'll dig in their heels if they decide to do so. Again, big if. And base it on we can't prove that he knew. Right now, they're in the midst of searching to find out what can be proven. If they find out that McMurphy and others have indisputable evidence that Meyer knew of the 2015 incident in which he denied just recently at the Big Ten meetings that knowledge, they'll have to let him go. End of story. If we can't 100% say with certainty that he knew, and we can't prove that he knew, even if it is a very logical conclusion or assumption, and they value him that much and are willing to, I suppose, sell their soul, then maybe he doesn't get fired.
No, you can't do it. You can't do it.
I know you can't
Your
do it, but we've
reputation is
seen worse.
completely destroyed because of the precedent you set by firing Tressel for lying to the NCAA for tattoos. So you're going to tell me that tattoos are more valuable than domestic violence? The optics of that are impossible for Ohio State.
I don't know anymore. What's real anymore, man? I mean, people have done far worse things, actually committed acts themselves that you would say is worse than turning your head to something as horrific as this, and maintained their job. And people have fought for them to maintain their job in the wake of overwhelming evidence that they are horrific human beings. See Art Briles.
Yeah. I've said this. I said it yesterday. I hate the phrase "in this climate" because what it does is
it demeans what's right.
Right. It demeans
what should have
right.
always been.
But it is true in this circumstance. This is if there was ever a time,
the discussion, sure.
If there was ever a time in sports media history, for something like this to come up, this is the wrong time. This is the worst possible time for Urban Meyer. And again, I hope everybody understands what I'm doing here is I'm just stating a fact, not demeaning the importance of domestic violence, the issue. This is the wrong damn time. No way. He's gone. He has to be. The optics of it by itself are too strong.
Well, the other problems are, of course, he has spent a career talking so much about principles, right? And living by them and standing by them, and how every organization has to have these core values. So much so that if you look in the athletic center, it says in big red letters the word decisions, and underneath it says honesty, treat women with respect, no drugs, stealing, weapons, etc. And he talks incessantly. That's at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. It's there now. You can see it. He talks constantly about those core values as he sees them. And yet, the reason he is so frequently made fun of and talked about in a negative light by everybody is that we've watched him turn his back on those principles time and again when it was convenient.
Except for with Bristol. That's the thing. That relationship is reluctant. Yesterday was the way they covered that event. And it wasn't just because McMurphy broke it and they let him go.
Yeah, they were reluctant, and there's no doubt. And it's hard for me to understand how that could be. Luckily, there were enough people within the organization that decided no and had him on and interviewed him repeatedly and got that side of the story out there, thankfully.
I think it was a twofold situation. It's a former employee that now they regret that they let go. They didn't, people.
You don't have to.
Right. It was about salary. It was about cost cutting.
Cost cutting, not ignoring good work or turning your back on good work.
Or firing him.
Well, they let a lot of people go they didn't want to let go.
There's difference. There is a nuanced difference between firing and layoffs.
There's a huge difference. I mean, the person's without a job either way.
You're fired
but the
either
reason
way.
You're being let go is yes, by definition, very different than being fired for incompetence on the job or misleading or whatever it might be. No, that was a money dump. It was part of a much larger money dump. There was nothing for them to apologize for. People get cut because a company's not making money all the time.
Which is why I'm making the case that it's not only about McMurphy being the one who broke the story. there's a reluctance to throw anything at the feet of Urban Meyer with ESPN. They've had such a good relationship with him over the years that he's protected. But they have him on the desk for the national championship for halftime.
Yeah, but they have a lot of people on the desk for the national championship game. It makes no sense to me. That makes zero sense. He hasn't contributed so much that they can't live without him. He's not that key, a cornerstone to their broadcasting future. I mean, sweet Jesus, what are we talking about here? I'd like to know, does he have pictures? I mean, what in the world does he have that they value so much beyond cachet as a coach?
Well, I don't know what it is precisely that he has, but, I mean, the stuff that happened in Florida under his watch, you never see ESPN tie that to him. They will for other coaches. They'll talk about a program that's rogue and is run amok.
31 arrests there, including with what we know of.
Right.
Several.
Well, and in the aftermath of the Aaron Hernandez situation, as more details come out years later about what happened in Gainesville, nothing. Not one word about what did he know, how did he know, but they'll run to several other coaches with big names, Tom Izzo being one of them. They're more than happy to jump down their throat. With Urban yesterday, it was like pulling teeth.
I know, that's why I asked the question. It's bizarre. I don't get it. I don't know where it comes from. What does he have besides football cachet as an elite coach? He's won 3 national titles. He's one of these guys that this side of Saban, he's the best in the business. There's no getting around his acumen as a coach and recruiter. But so what? He doesn't. What does he provide them?
Well, listen to the opinion of the suit this morning on Get Up. Greenberg says, I've met him many times. I believe him to be a good man. Before I mean, that's the way it is. People, they liked him. When they worked with him, they liked him, so they didn't want to do this.
You know, he's sitting on paid administrative leave right now, and that is so that Ohio State can investigate that situation. And they just have to find out when, and I suppose if he knew. We know he knew in 2009. That we know.
Yeah, he recommended they get counseling.
Yeah.
And then the core people in his circle got her to stand down and not
they
follow through.
That's right. They convinced
Courtney Smith.
Well, no, but I'm saying that those core people were able to convince Courtney Smith not to do it.
Earl Bruce was one of them.
He says he didn't know about the allegations that Smith was beating the hell out of his wife.
In 2015.
In 2015.
Yes.
So all you have to do is find out whether or not that's true. Did he or did he not? If he did, he's gone. And if he didn't, more importantly, see, what I'm more interested in, we know what should happen here. And we know the hypocrisy that's on display, but I'm more interested to see what the institution does. How do they value Urban Meyer? Doesn't matter how ESPN does. How do they value Urban Meyer?
Reese Davis was more than willing yesterday to say that when you're on paid administrative leave, he says, I don't have any, inside sources here, but this has to be about them, discussing terms of separation. There's no other way around that.
I believe that's true. We said that yesterday on the show.
And I agree with you, but if the voice of College Game Day, right, one of the faces of the sports, listen, that's important. On ESPN, on their own SportsCenter circuit at 6 o'clock.
Has Herb Street commented? That's the guy everybody's going to want to hear from.
I don't think he has.
No. That's who everybody's going to want to hear from. Now, he's not beholden at this point because he's not on the clock, if you will, for ESPN college football as it started. But, I mean, he's the guy that
his people might say, like, his representation to get him the Cheez-Its and the Home Depot. They're like, hey, let's wait till this thing resolves, and then you can speak on the matter from a point of clarity.
In fairness, he does, because he has to wait to find out what they knew and what he knew and didn't know. I mean, he has to. You and I don't, but he has to. That's a national voice who played at Ohio State and is seen as the face of Ohio State in a lot of ways and is the face of college football in a lot of ways. He's going to have to say something. What he's waiting for is to find out if Urban Meyer is going to be retained. Because
he wants to say the right thing. Yes, he wants the Monday morning quarterback.
That's a tough one. I can't judge that. There's a lot on the line there, man. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Here, do you need headsets?
I don't need no stinking headsets.
Well, then go. Come on, man.
All right. Hi there, Tallahassee. You know me. This is Eddie. You know, I have other restaurants in this town, Gordo's, Banditos. Well, I opened up something new. It's called Bumpa's Local 349. You may ask, what is Bumpa's Local 349? It was named after my grandfather. Bumpa. It's what we called him. Best man I ever knew. And the Local 349 was his union. And I try to bring this local flavor, this local flair of Tallahassee. I want to bring it to you, locally owned and operated. Warm, good food.
Good Lord, man, we're getting all weepy up in here. It's a cool sports pub. It's got TVs everywhere. You got every package. You got a gazillion kinds of beers and delicious food and a deck. We don't need to weep up in here. Come on, Eddie.
And we have 16 local Florida taps. Great craft beer just for you. And the best bologna sandwich you'll ever eat. It's like you just won the lotto. As Bumpa said, no matter how you cut it, it's still bologna.
Bumpa's Local 349, 2738 Capitol Circle Northeast.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shop's work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
We're going to be able to record our off-air conversations for a separate podcast.
Not that one.
I don't think we said anything crazy.
No.
I mean, it would not have been appropriate for certain...
Hello, Deadspin, you know?
Yeah, but we...
It's not nefarious. It's just, very bluntly speaking about a sensitive topic. Yeah.
Very bluntly.
LeGarrette bluntly.
Is LeGarrette still going to be in the league this year?
I think he's still in the league, isn't he?
Oh, well, he was in the league last year. I'm saying, is LeGarrette going to be in the league this year? because there have been 5 or 6 years running now where we assumed LeGarrette Blount was out of the league, and then he shows up on somebody's roster and he's kicking ass down the home stretch.
Yeah, he's with the Lions this year.
Oh,
well, they needed some short yardage help.
Short yardage help, buddy. Look at LeGarrette Blount.
Oh, he looks so happy to be at Lions practice. These photos are great.
He's steady making money 4 or 5 years after most of us thought career pretty much done.
That's interesting. So Matt Patricia thought enough of him to go get him because that's the Lions coach this year.
Well, I mean, he brings a certain what for to your roster.
It's impossible to remember him in a Bucs uniform. Like, I know that's just fact, but it seems like that's impossible.
Well, we couldn't block for him, so he could never get going because he's a guy that needs help to the line of scrimmage. Now, once he gets to the line of scrimmage, that's your ass.
He had the play of the year against Green Bay in Lambeau Field. That was the NFL's play of the year, his touchdown with the Bucs.
Yes.
We said not good enough.
Well, hold on. We've had any number of really talented dudes on our roster that we just somehow...
We traded him for Jeff Demps.
That was a mistake. Well, think back on this. I mean, we've had players that went on to be all world. The defensive end for Seattle.
I know. Michael Bennett was the first place you're going. I know.
I first guessed that. I was screaming it to you on the air when we were going to get rid of him the year before for nothing. I'm going, why would you do that?
And I didn't disagree. I was like, I know.
It doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever. That's just so ridiculous. 5 things to watch in the Hall of Fame game. It leads to this question, by the way. The Hall of Fame game is what it is, the Hall of Fame game. But I did enjoy this question that was posed on Good Morning Football, which is actually a delightful little show for what it is.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
You know, the whole genre kind of sucks, but that one doesn't as much.
She's great, and I think all the guys on the show do a good job. It is,
sometimes they do the clownish,
I guess you can't escape it.
They like to scream and shout,
but they're fun, and they clearly have passion for the game, and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
Which quarterback has more upside? And I find you may be tempted to say neither, but I think it's interesting. And here's that question for you. Mitch Trubisky or Lamar Jackson?
That's a heck of a question. You know what? I will watch tonight.
Because it's football, damn it, and it's the first glimpse of football. Even if you watch 5 minutes, it's the first glimpse of football you got.
Yeah, I will want to watch a drive of Lamar Jackson's. Just to watch. I mean, I don't know that he'll amount to much of anything, so that doesn't really answer anything. But I will watch when he's on the field because something cool could happen.
Danny Cannell and I were talking yesterday in the interview you guys heard here. If you didn't, go back to ESPNTallahassee.com in the archive and find it. But he brought up a point that we've brought up that I'm equally excited about. The league is showing signs of changing to the point where non-traditional quarterbacks have a shot to impact the league and a franchise in a way that we wouldn't have given them any opportunity to do 5 to 7 years ago. Part of what we were saying with Johnny Manziel, or much before him, Tim Tebow, was that, great, you can run around, and you can get away with that in college. And, oh, by the way, you can even be a battering ram the way Tebow was in the most brutal physical league in all the land in the SEC, and you can win a national title and a Heisman and be one of the all-time best quarterbacks in college football history, but it simply doesn't translate to the NFL. You got to be able to throw with accuracy from the pocket consistently, and if you happen to break a run here or there because something breaks down, that's great. But we're not designing our offense around that skill set, and you don't throw the ball well enough for us to draft you in the first round. But these days, because I'm saying that for this reason, Lamar Jackson struggles to throw the ball accurately with any degree of consistency. At least he did in college. Now, he's an otherworldly gifted runner. We know that.
And he has incredible arm talent, but not hand talent to go with it.
Right. And he's certainly undressed us, without any question, especially the one game where we just decided not to play football. But I don't think the league has changed so much that you can get away with being that average of a passer. Now, he's going to have to improve greatly there because, again, if you can't consistently make the throws that are the simplest in your arsenal, that's the underneath stuff, the check down stuff, lead a guy in the flats, those kinds of things, you're going to have a problem staying in there. And if he can do that, then maybe you can utilize all those other strengths.
Plainly speaking, the field's too small.
Right.
I keep coming back to that. It's not just about the hash marks being more narrow. That's part of it, a big part of the discussion, because now you're changing everything about the middle of the field. You're shrinking it when it should be kind of expanded. If you think about defensive speed at the league level, it's so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
You would probably want to mitigate that by making the field wider. I think that would help in terms of the violence of the game and the types of hits that lead to concussions. You wouldn't get as clean of a look at somebody over the middle. But none of that benefits Lamar Jackson. The fact that the angles are better for the defense to attack him, the fact that it requires pinpoint accuracy. Yeah, on all fronts, I totally agree with you. It's just I don't know that this offense in Baltimore is the one that's going to put him in a position to succeed like, say, Doug Peterson's in Philadelphia. You would need an Andy Reid or Doug Peterson type offense, or even some of the tenets that they run up, but even in New England with the zone read looks, a base zone read
or what
fake.
they did all of last year in Houston.
Sure. Yeah, you need somebody like that to help you out and give you a fair chance. I don't know that Baltimore's offense, which is about getting the ball down the field with Joe Flacco.
Well, I don't know how much longer that's going to be their focus with Joe Flacco, because I don't know how much longer Joe Flacco is going to be there with the god-awful level of suck that he provided a year ago.
He's cruising on home.
Well, man, he made his money and said peace. He is the best example of the guy that bet on himself, big time, is responsible for one of the greatest runs in postseason history, and got paid big time for it, and then said, it's been real. I mean, I'll show up, but I ain't out here trying to be the best I can be. I mean, it's remarkable.
You know that Army slogan from the 90s?
Yeah, it ain't me.
It ain't me.
No, it's I'm rich, and I'm going to make sure I'm doing all right to enjoy those riches. At some point, you'll cut me, and I'll take my money and ride.
Make as much money as you can make.
It's hard. You know, I used to say, because I met people who were really good at football but didn't love football. And I remember getting hurt and thinking, do I love football? Because football is freaking hard. And when you get hurt and you have surgery and you have a long time to contemplate what it's going to take to get back. You have a long time to contemplate whether or not you'll ever be back, whether or not you can contribute in the way that you did, especially if you're marginal the way I was. So you better love the damn game.
Right.
Like, you better love the game.
Maybe you could make a couple of grand in the arena leagues at some point.
Right.
Is it worth that?
Then it's easy to say I'm out. But if you got a chance to make millions.
I've always wanted to play for Tim Markham and the Tampa Bay Storm.
But what I'm saying is there are people who have that same attitude, who realize how difficult football is, but they also are really good at it. And so they go, can I deal with the punishment and the sacrifice and the mental anguish of 7 years of doing something that I physically and mentally loathe in order to become a millionaire, and then just walk away and be set? Can I fake it and still produce to get my cash and be out there? I mean, you got to be incredibly gifted to even have this conversation in your head. Can I do that for 7 more years? Can I do that for 4 years, for 3 years of college, and another 3 years in the pros, and get paid and ride? That's hard, man. That practice sucks. Golly, does practice suck.
Ask some of the 49ers from the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, but they ended up dealing with very real long-term, the potential for very real long-term problems. I mean, you suffer 6 and 7. See, that's a different deal. I'm talking about knees, ankles, feet, things like that. You talk about concussions. No, you got to go. You got to go. If you've had 5 or 6, you just had a kid retire the other day who's 24 years old. He had 4 concussions, and he went, I'm not going to have a 5th. That's 4. I mean, there are people out there like Brett Favre that guessed that they had over 1,000.
I'm sure there's a counter to the argument, but wouldn't it seem common sense to just widen the field so that your lanes are wider and that you can't have a compressed area over the middle of the field where there is
talking
punishment?
About the hash marks?
Yeah. At the very least, if not widening the field in general.
Widen the field, we're talking about 68 to 61 every week, but okay.
Well, I'm sure that there's a happy middle ground somewhere, because defenses are so much faster in the pro game.
But they're not allowed to do anything, so the middle ground's going to be allow them to clutch and grab a little bit.
Yeah.
go back to the way we played the game in the 80s and 90s where you can put your hands on somebody.
Because you don't have a Cam Chancellor or an Earl Thomas, that can go from one side of the field to the other in a split second at 215, 220 pounds.
No, I think if you make the kinds of fundamentally altered decisions you're doing where you decide the game is going to change for people's health and all of that, and that includes widening the field, fine. But I can't have guys running 4.2 40s that I'm not allowed to touch off the line.
Sure.
No, we're not going to be able to guard anybody.
Well, I mean, you're truly on an island at that point. I mean, there's a great example in the game of hockey because the international rinks are much wider.
Mm-hmm.
There's less checking.
That's why
what do you know? There's less checking in that game.
It's also why we love Olympic hockey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the
Olympic
skill is
hockey
allowed
is
to have
awesome.
space to operate. I like the North American game because there's more physicality to it, but that's what they say when they come over. Like, man, you're playing in a barn. Everything is condensed. There's no space to breathe. In the same way, the NFL level, it's funny. You would think going from college to pro, the hash marks would do the opposite thing. But it makes it harder on the quarterback, and that's how you live and die.
Yeah. Football's on tonight.
Yes, it is, with the narrow hash marks, and I'll still be watching.
Oh, you're going to watch. It'll be bad football, and you're going to watch. And at least the first 1 or 2 drives, you're going to be happy to be watching.
Yeah.
It's usually the second or third drive where they go, playing quarterback now is Wilson Mitchup out of Northwestern State.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, well, sure that he's a fine young man.
I'll watch a drive or two of Lamar's as long as he doesn't go 3 and out in both drives. If he does, then I'm done. But I think halftime's about as far as I can get no matter what happens.
Yeah. I go into it every year saying I'm going to watch the whole game, and I'm excited for it. And certainly the thought of staying around till halftime is easy, and then you get 2 drives in, and I'm like, you're reminded bad football is bad football.
Well, wait until the emphasis of throwing people out for head-to-head contact is thrown into tonight's game.
They don't ruin my season. Don't be out here ruining my season. Forget all that. If people die on the field, they die on the field. We got to move on from this. We're now all alerted to the fact that football is dangerous. Got it? Stop it.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers.
Are you tired of getting the same 2-piece kits? Cornerstone Tool & Fastener in DeWalt have your answer. Buy a 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit with 2 4-amp-hour batteries and receive a free 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit. That's correct. You get 2 DeWalt 3-speed impact kits for the price of 1 only at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. While you're there, check out the power of freedom. FlexVolt 60-volt tools from chainsaws to string trimmers, blowers, and even compressors. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
Did you know that nearly every American sports team has at least one chiropractor on staff? They know that taking care of the spine and extremities is directly related to performance, and that's what we do at my office every day. I'm Dr. Rob with HealthSource Chiropractic, and it's my passion to restore health and optimize the lives of my patient family members. We use evidence-based methods with high-tech, simple science techniques to provide measurable results in the shortest time possible so you can get back to doing what you love. Don't just take my word for it. Read any of our over 100 5-star reviews. Call HealthSource today, 877-8980.
At ACE, we believe there's nothing better than helping kids. That's why we've been proud to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals for over 25 years. This Friday through Sunday, get our 5-gallon bucket and 20% off almost anything that fits inside when you donate $5 to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And like ACE, CMN hospitals are local, so the money you donate helps kids near you.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Offer valid at participating stores on regular price merchandise only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Freedom isn't free. It comes at a high price. And Gain Street Pies is offering this heartfelt word of thanks to all the men and women who serve in our armed forces, in law enforcement, and as first responders, and to all of their families who support their commitment to all of us. These hometown heroes who stand at freedom's gate, who are willing to pay the ultimate price if necessary in protecting us and defending our nation's freedom.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Matlow, co-owner of Gain Street Pies in Tallahassee. I want to take this moment to thank all of you, our hometown heroes. Thank you for your devotion and for helping to make Tallahassee such a wonderful place to live, to work, and raise our families.
Here's to you, hometown heroes, from Gain Street Pies in Tallahassee, on Gain Street in Midtown, and now on Capitol Circle Northeast at Easterwood Drive. Stop in today or find them online at GainStreetPies.com.
The holidays are coming. Well, in a few months, and that's why now is the time to shower up with a beautiful custom bath or shower enclosure from Widden Glass. Don't wait for the holiday rush. Widden Glass will take care of you this summer to your complete satisfaction. They've been helping to design and install bath and shower enclosures for Tallahassee homeowners for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with real glass people, experienced, reliable professionals. Widden's top-of-the-line bath and shower enclosures provide style and luxury at an affordable price. With the holidays coming, that means family, and that means now is the time to shower up with style.
Call today, Widden Glass, the real glass people, 222-5781, or online at widdenglass.com, WHIDDON. Widden, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945, 222-5781.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Welcome back, football. Be watching a little bit of you tonight. Ice cold, tall beer in my hand. Yeah, it's going to happen. I don't know what you're doing over there, but that's what I am doing.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
It's going to be really good. I worked out this morning in preparation for that cold beer tonight.
You did you?
I did. I got after it with the help of Bill Fredericks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm in a lot of pain.
Really?
Oh, man. This first week back has been absolutely brutal.
How many workouts have you done?
Well, what's today? Thursday? I've done it every day this week.
So 4.
4.
So you need your first rest day either tomorrow or Saturday.
I'm working out tomorrow. I'll be taking that Saturday.
So you're going to do 5 in a row at the gate. Good for you.
Well, I want to shock the system. So I do 5 in a row out the gates, and then I get Saturday off, which means Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. Dancing on a Friday night.
Yeah, there you go. That's how it works. Hey, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. There's news. We're going to put the segment we were about to do on hold to give you this news right now. We've been waiting on it. If you want to play some form of whistles and bells and things, Tom, it is time to celebrate. The news is good. Florida State has released preseason camp media availability and the schedule. Woo-hoo!
Hello, my friend, hello.
Yeah! All right. Sunday, August the 5th, 4 p.m., press conference. Willie Taggart.
That's brutal.
Middle of a Sunday. I see you, Willie. Sweet Jesus, guys.
Hello, my friend, hello. Stick him in your mouth and suck him.
Harlan Barnett and Walt Bell all available in this, the first of the press conferences to start the year, 4 o'clock. All right, then.
Okay.
I like where you're going here. I'm in. Let's do this thing. Monday, August the 6th, 9:15 a.m., a pre-practice student-athlete availability. Practice fields, Archway. 10:10 a.m., practice begins. Tuesday, August the 7th, 8:45 a.m. Practice, pre-practice, student-athlete, and Coach Taggart availability.
Sometimes they put an embargo on this stuff. Is there an embargo? No, okay. I'm just double-checking.
They're like, what is he doing?
What is he doing?
10 a.m. practice begins. Wednesday, 9 a.m. pre-practice, all that good stuff. Offensive coaches available Wednesday morning, 9 a.m.
Holy bleep.
What? You know what I was about to say with the rest of that. Media viewing period begins at 10:25 a.m. on a Balls McWednesday next week. Willie figured Balls McWednesday time to let you guys watch a little football.
This must be my damn f***ing lucky day.
Thursday, pre-practice defense coaches and student availability. Defensive coaches available on Thursday.
This must be my damn f***ing lucky day.
Media viewing period begins at 9 a.m. Friday, 7 a.m. practice. Woo! I like it.
I'll
Bright
do
early, 7 a.m. Let's get out there. Coach Taggart's available to be talked to on 7 a.m. at 7 a.m. on Friday. 8:30 a.m. media viewing period begins. And then 10 a.m. Saturday, August the 11th, media viewing period begins. Let's go.
This must be my damn f***ing lucky day.
All interviews during preseason camp will take place prior to practice. A daily schedule for next week with times and availability is listed below, the aforementioned times that I gave you. Practices on Monday and Tuesday will be open in their entirety to all of the media.
Woo!
All other practices next week will have a media viewing portion, which is approximately 15 minutes, and you got to get your ass up out of here.
Well, I won't be attending those. Thanks for the stretches.
No practices are open to the public.
Okay, then it's our job to be there and make sure that we disseminate the information
correctly
and embargo the things that need to be embargoed.
Media members should enter the practice fields through the archway. I shall. Even when they tell us not to, I do.
Climb the fence instead?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, the archway suits me just fine. During the viewing period, media members will be able to watch practice from the perimeter of the practice field. Media members will not be permitted in between the two fields at any time. So I can't mosey on over and start talking to the coaches in the middle of the field. Hey, guys, how you doing? Listen, might I suggest? So this is good. This is a little bit more open so far.
At least I think that might be the olive branch, and then they close everything down.
There you go. Grand opening, grand closing. Have a good one.
Probably, right?
No, I think they're going to keep this schedule. I think we'll be all right. We'll see. I like all this talking to offensive coaches, defensive coaches.
Going to have to actually line up some questions. Go through the coaches' route. You didn't even have to care about who the assistant coaches were.
I'm ready,
Jimbo.
man. Help. Yeah, yeah, you had no access to them, so it wasn't going to matter at all, huh? You want to do this second thing? We can do the second thing.
Yeah, we got another 3 minutes.
All right, let's do it. Go ahead.
To,
let's cue it up then.
Switch on over to the page from the Lucky Day clip.
Just keep playing that one. It's still one of my favorites. Anything Will Ferrell says makes us laugh.
Open your eyes.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!
My glasses! I can't be seen without my glasses!
That is absolutely horrendous!
I don't believe this call is accurate.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Man, I can see!
You lack vision.
It's time for the Vision Check.
Vision Check is brought to you by our friends at the law office of Jose Fernandez. They don't get paid until you do. The law office of Jose Fernandez, offices Miami, Tallahassee. All right. Oklahoma football. That's what we're doing here for Jose Fernandez, baby. Lincoln Riley, year 2, went 12-2 in his first year. That's doing some things.
That was the old 1-hour tease for the Oklahoma schedule, too.
Sometimes we go that route. Somebody diehard Oklahoma's going to go, how are we going to do, Jeff, after Baker Mayfield? Or at least how do you think we're going to do? I know what I think. And I'll tell you that answer. Mayfield was all-time great at OU, no question about that. And it is a new offense, if you will, being built around Rodney Anderson, who's really good, Tom. If you haven't watched him play at running back, you need to.
Okay.
Really good. I'm going to assume that Kyler Murray wins the job, although, that is, kind of a contest.
Is that the baseball kid?
That's the baseball kid, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really talented. And last year, the second half of the season, OU's defense was much better. That defense, oh, by the way, you asked me earlier why I think they'll be good this year or better. Most of the starters from a year ago were sophomores and juniors. They get just about everybody back. So they're talented there. I would think they'll go and be better on that side of the ball. But the problem is they'll take a step back on offense because you can't just in good conscience say that you're going to continue to play at the level that Baker Mayfield did. And one of the reasons that I did say that I thought Baker Mayfield had a chance despite not having your traditional measurements and not necessarily playing in an offense that is something that resembles an NFL offense was his accuracy and his anticipation. And when you think of the way that he had mastered that offense, he ran it as efficiently as you could ever dream of somebody running it. There's no way that continues to be executed at that level. Just no way.
So they're 2-0 after playing Florida Atlantic that first weekend. That's a cool game. Then they play UCLA at home. Those are 2 easy wins. Then they travel to Ames, Iowa to play Iowa State. And that could be a tough game for Big 12 teams. But
they'll win that game. They lost that game a year ago.
That's full attention, revenge tour kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Army 4-0, Baylor 5-0. Then it's Texas Saturday, October the 6th.
Great game, fun game.
Then they get a bye week. They travel to TCU. Is TCU going to be any good this year? I'm really not versed in the ways of TCU.
Top 25 team.
Okay. So that's a good back-to-back with a bye week in between.
Mm-hmm.
They host Kansas State. They'll win that game. They travel to Texas Tech. Is Texas Tech of any consequence this year?
Never are.
Okay. Then you've got Bedlam the next weekend
mm-hmm.
in Norman.
They usually beat Oklahoma State, sure.
In Norman. Then Kansas. Insert laugh track here. And then for the final week of the year, it could be interesting, I guess. It's a Friday, day after Thanksgiving. They travel to West Virginia.
Well, we've seen crazy games between Oklahoma and West Virginia, even when West Virginia wasn't good. I mean, those are your 66-61 crazy, crazy games.
But West Virginia's domed up a little bit with Oklahoma, are they not?
Well, West Virginia's domed up against anybody who's any good. But yeah, I listen, last year, Oklahoma went, 12-2?
Yeah.
It's hard to see them doing any worse than that.
So over under 10.5 regular season
over.
wins? Regular season,
11-1?
I mean, you're looking at that schedule and you're thinking, Iowa State, no, revenge tour game. Texas is losable, TCU is losable, and West Virginia.
Yeah, so they got to go 2-1 in those 3 games.
And that's neutral for Texas, on the road for TCU, on the road to Morgantown.
Yeah, I see them winning 11 games, sure. I mean, I think it's a machine there in Norman, man. They recruit so exceptionally well, and Lincoln Riley was the right guy. I mean, he is young, and he'll put his stamp on it. They won 12 games right off the bat, yeah.
It's probably fair to say until proven otherwise with them too, right?
That's the way I do it every year. It's just that you got to win those critical games to get into the college football playoff. Unless we forget last year in that college football playoff, they were up 31-14 on Georgia. I mean, they were that close to playing for the national title.
Yeah, that game was a classic.
It was unbelievable. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
Stay safe and dry inside.
Roofing is rewarding, but it's not exactly a bed of roses. It's a very dirty job, subject to the environment, working on 98-degree summer days, dodging rainstorms, working on steep slopes like a mountain goat. At Parker Brothers, our skilled workers have chosen this challenging trade as their career choice. These are the people that you want working on your roof. We've been servicing the community since 1995. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
CGC 042221, CCC 049350.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Are you tired of getting the same two-piece kits? Cornerstone Tool & Fastener in DeWalt have your answer. Buy a quarter-inch 3-speed impact kit with two 4-amp-hour batteries and receive a free quarter-inch 3-speed impact kit. That's correct. You get two DeWalt 3-speed impact kits for the price of one, only at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. While you're there, check out the power of freedom. FlexVolt 60-volt tools from chainsaws to string trimmers, blowers, and even compressors. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon. Here, do you need headsets?
I don't need no stinking headsets.
Well, then go. Come on, man.
All right. Hi there, Tallahassee. You know me. This is Eddie. You know, I have other restaurants in this town, Gordo's, Banditos. Well, I opened up something new. It's called Bumpa's Local 349. You may ask, what is Bumpa's Local 349? It was named after my grandfather. Bumpa. It's what we called him. Best man I ever knew. And the Local 349 was his union. And I try to bring this local flavor, this local flair of Tallahassee. I want to bring it to you, locally owned and operated. Warm, good food.
Good Lord, man, we're getting all weepy up in here. It's a cool sports pub. It's got TVs everywhere. You got every package. You got a gazillion kinds of beers and delicious food and a deck. We don't need to weep up in here. Come on, Eddie.
And we have 16 local Florida taps. Great craft beer just for you. And the best bologna sandwich you'll ever eat. It's like you just won the lotto. As Bumpa said, no matter how you cut it, it's still bologna.
Bumpa's Local 349, 2738 Capitol Circle Northeast.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Giants are now talking with wideout Odell Beckham Jr. about a new contract. That, according to ESPN's Jordan Renan. Currently, Beckham is playing on the final year of his rookie contract for $8.5 million. Last summer, Beckham said he wanted to be the highest-paid player in the NFL. One day after cutting wideout Jordan Matthews, the Patriots signed free agent Eric Decker. He played for the Titans last year. The first NFL preseason game kicks off tonight in Canton, Ohio. The Ravens and Bears in the Hall of Fame game. Ohio State football coach Urban Meyer is now on administrative leave as the university tries to sort out the domestic violence allegations against former assistant coach Zach Smith and whether Meyer knew about those allegations. ESPN Big Ten reporter Dan Murphy.
At this point, a less of a legal or a procedural issue as sort of an ethical thing at this point of whether or not they needed to say anything, and especially because of how adamantly Urban Meyer denied things a week ago in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days. The question is if it turns out that it's clear that he wasn't telling the truth at that point, that might be his biggest issue.
Dan Murphy on Golick and Wingo. The preseason coaches poll is out today. Alabama is ranked number 1, Clemson is second, and Ohio State third. Golf in the first round of the Bridgestone Invitational. Kyle Stanley, the leader, at 7 under. Tiger Woods 3 shots back after a 4 under 66. He bogeyed his final hole today. Technical fouls are way up this season in the WNBA. A total of 92 techs called before the All-Star break. That's 11 more than all of last season. League Director of Officiating Monty McCutcheon says there was not an emphasis to call more technicals this season.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I can't hear anything, but I'm on the air, I suppose. What a way to start the 5 o'clock hour. Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show.
There it is.
Right here on 97.9 ESPN. What just happened?
It just straight kicked off.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I was listening for my cue, ready to come in, and I went, we're done here. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything. If you do miss something, there you go. Can we get? I mean, this feels right now.
It's okay. You want to let it run, jump back in.
No, it just feels better now. I want to know that everything's working.
You don't feel naked.
It was awkward. It was weird. I was listening.
It just kicked out.
Just reminding how much I love that song, and then just boom. Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show. At least for today. There you go. No. By the way, we're on Twitter at J Cameron Show. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. If you miss anything, go ahead and get caught up at your leisure. You can email the program if you like, jcs at 979 ESPNradio.com. We're on YouTube, too. Football tonight. Time's the Hall of Fame game get underway, my friend.
Sometime a bit later. Probably like 8:30, I'd say.
I like that answer. Sometime here in the near future, it'll get started. Any moment now, just hang in there. There's some things that'll happen that involve football in the coming hours. It's true. I don't love the Hall of Fame game. I love the idea of football being back, and so it is. I shall watch, and it is football. It's like I joke about this all the time, right? It's people with pads that we recognize hitting one another, and that is the game of football that we love, and it's back officially tonight for the start of another wonderful, we hope, season.
8 p.m. NBC. Bob Costas will not be a part of that NBC broadcast, I can assure you.
So it is. Lamar Jackson should get some run at quarterback tonight, and I think that's maybe even a quarter of action. You'll play him a lot here early in the preseason, so that is something worth tuning into. And while I'm at it, I mean, listen, I thought at the end of last year, Mitch Trubisky looked vastly improved in his rookie season and like a guy that has a chance to be pretty good. It was a lame duck season that he was going through. But you know, I haven't thrown in the towel on Mitch Trubisky. I was surprised that he went where he did, but we did never deny his tools. So we'll see. I get to watch him a little bit tonight. Also get a chance to look at this point. You just look at this and say, this is where it all starts. That's what you're most excited about. It's a chance to recognize yet again that football is back in your life and it's in earnest, and I'm watching my TV with a game on it.
Big Daddy J got to play. Baltimore -1.5 tonight.
Baltimore -1.5 tonight?
In the preseason, yes.
No, I don't bet preseason football. They're exhibition games. Anything can happen. You truly are betting just for the sake of betting if you bet on a preseason game. There is nobody that can rightfully tell you they have any idea of who's going to win and why in a preseason game. So it is by definition lucky if you bet and win in preseason. You deserve to lose if you're betting in preseason. There's no usually discernible game plan based on down and distance. It's about looks. It's about putting people in situations to try to get evaluation. It is not about strategy. It is not about install. It's not about any of that stuff. And so, at least not as it pertains to actual down and distance, quarter by quarter, time consideration, football strategy.
Hey, man, if you don't have a play, that's fine.
I just want you to know. You know who I'm talking to? I'm talking to my dear friends who like to gamble as much as I do, but maybe perhaps are a little reckless in that endeavor. Don't be betting preseason football. Just don't do it, guys. It's not worth your time.
Don't you put that evil on me.
No, don't do it. It angers me when it happens. I'm always like, no. Sunday we get together. If you missed it last hour, Florida State made the announcement. 4 o'clock, Willie Taggart press conference along with his assistant coaches. We'll be there. Yeah, baby. Come Monday, it all gets underway. Practice begins. We'll also be there bright and early. Got a chance to talk to players. Talk to Willie Taggart on Tuesday again. This will be good. This will be good. I got to think there's a sense of relief over there right about now because you get your schedule, you get things in order, and now it's just about really kind of hunkering down and getting ready for the season. And when your first game is against Virginia Tech, man, I understand what's going on with them this offseason. It's still Virginia Tech. It's still Bud Foster on that defense. He's going to bring the house. He's going to give you some exotics. It's going to be interesting. You got a lot to work on here.
There's a lot to work on. There's no doubt. And I just wonder if, meeting with all of the coaches is going to be a one-time deal because it's one thing to do the meetings the first week of camp practice. And I'm not being greedy. I'm legitimately asking the question out loud. You got to be able to talk to him at least one time, and this is that opportunity. But the first week of camp, everything is so generic. All the talking points are going to be cliche-laden about motivation and sticking to it. You're not close enough to Virginia Tech where you can get into the specifics of game plan. You're not reacting to game film that we've shown, so they don't have any experience on a Saturday with our players with, hard results to look at. You could talk about the spring. I guess you can talk about the film that they've studied, the coaches have.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring up the spring. I am going to bring up, yeah.
So it's going to be about motivation and all the intangible kind of stuff. But it will be good to hear their voices because usually you would not in fall camp, save for media day.
This is an aside because I got distracted by a conversation about gambling. You know that Washington, who takes on the Reds tonight in baseball, Max Scherzer's on the hill. That's at -275. Outlandish numbers out there in baseball right now. Clayton Kershaw at -200. I told you last week I saw a game at -550. Guys, just a word to the wise while I'm doling out Big Daddy J information. You don't ever give anything over 300. Don't do it, guys. Leave it be.
Baseball is baseball, but I do believe the Nationals are going on one of those it's now or never type runs, and it may fall well short, but it does seem like that team post-deadline, now that Harper's still a part of the team, and obviously they didn't trade off any other big pieces, that they're thinking to themselves, all right, we're not totally dead yet. There's 2 months of the season to go. So
this is going to sound like a strange thing to say, but a follow-up on putting a ribbon on that, we'll move on with the show and be mostly all football. But let me say this. Daniel Murphy hitting 2 home runs the other night is a problem for the rest of that league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hasn't done a thing all year long. I mean, in terms of injuries and everything else, he hit 2 well-hit balls, looked like the Daniel Murphy we saw when he immediately left the Mets and in his final year with the Mets.
Yeah, the postseason was incredible.
And watching him, I thought, well, maybe they got that guy back to being him. And then, in addition, there is something to be said about the idea of being buoyed, having not been broken to pieces and not given up on, and recognizing despite playing really poor and inconsistent baseball, they're 5 games back of 2 teams that aren't complete teams. I mean, the Phillies are not very good defensively. They're not a juggernaut team in any way, and the Braves aren't either. So you got
Right, this thing was
Braves
pushing,
are much better defensively.
This thing was pushing 7-8 games a couple of weeks ago, and you thought, all right, they're dead and buried. But, I mean, the Phillies and the Braves, before this week began, were both scuffling. I mean, they were just falling to pieces.
No, I think the idea is, look, we'll just stand pat. We got a team here that the roster says we're better than both those teams to some degree if you're Washington. So they stand pat and they give it a run, and we'll see what happens. They ought to be better, which is really why.
Honestly, I'm thinking in my head right now, that's the 3-team race to watch, is it not? You know, if Washington does inject themselves back into a division race, you're certainly not going to see that in the AL East.
Well, if you'd like
to,
to ignore the Pirates' recent run into contention in the Central to rival.
Was it you guys, the Brewers and the Cubs? You guys all closely packed together?
I mean, close is a relative term, but
okay, yeah.
No, we actually. After last night's loss, it changes things a little bit. They avenged their previous night's loss. I knew that was going to happen.
Well, Hamels threw, yeah.
Well, Hamels threw well, but also we had Kingman on the hill. The standings go like this. You're going to want to watch Boston and New York in the AL East without question. You're going to want to watch, if you're going to look at the National League, the Pirates are not really in it. They're 7 games back. The Cards are 7 games back too, but that's not completely out of it.
It's funny, Matthew showed me the West and how that's compelling, and 4 teams are in it if you count the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. I don't count the Giants.
But I don't count, man, that division to me, it's the Dodgers. That's the team. And if
it is now, they got off to such a horrible start this year and now have come all the way back. They're the most talented team of the bunch, and they also just got a lot better with Machado. So, yes, it's going to be them. It's not going to be Arizona. Oddly enough, I think Colorado will hang around. I like that team. They can swing it. Cubs, Brewers are within a game of each other in the Central. My Pirates are 7 games back in the National League East, which is where we carry the Braves right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You're talking about 3 teams within 5 games. The Nats being within 5 games now. The Phillies and Braves separated by a half game. So, listen, it's good for baseball. We got a lot of interesting things going on out there. I mean, the A's in Seattle are 5 games back of first place Houston. Cleveland is running away with a sorry-ass Central in the American League, but we're all going to be tuned in watching whether or not the Yankees can catch the Red Sox. Seems doubtful. They're 5.5 back, especially with the Judge injury. But, I mean, listen to this, man. I say this aloud just because it's a reminder of how ridiculously good they are, and I think it gets glossed over to some degree. Boston is 75-34. What are we doing? That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, we're crowning them, at least
until the postseason.
Until the post.
It's Jeff Cameron, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers.
TNT.
just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. He's gone! Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events, and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
And we're back with another edition of Spring Cleaning. Today, we want to know how you save energy, water, and money during a warmer season. Caller, you're on the air. What do you do to save energy?
With the warmer temperature, I know my AC is working overtime, so I make sure to replace my AC filter once a month.
Excellent suggestion. Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the City of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more installation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I like these kinds of conversations. You know, yesterday we celebrated the fact that football starts this month and how good that feels. But you got to make arrangements. Once you realize that, once it hits you that that's going on, then you realize you got to make arrangements for the road games, in particular the Notre Dame game for us. It's the annual road trip we all take, right? Everybody does, or a lot of people do. And if you're thinking about doing it, why not the Notre Dame game this year? We wanted to make it simple. We partnered up. If you're going to Notre Dame, if you haven't been to one of the great cathedrals of all of college football, here's your chance. The Jeff Cameron Show is, and we're letting Game Day Excursions handle the planning for you for, quote, the Seminole South Bend Takeover. Pretty cool, right? We're double dipping with a trip to Chicago for the weekend, as you're wont to do if you're going to a Notre Dame game. It's so close.
South Bend for the weekend is a little different, you know.
Sucks. I've been to South Bend. And letting Game Day Excursions take it from there. Game Day Excursions, our turnkey experience includes, check this out. Seriously, a premium bus charter transportation to and from Chicago to South Bend. Noel fans, we leave Saturday morning after a bottomless mimosa Bloody Mary pregame experience. Good Lord, at the Field Museum, no less. I've been there. I don't know if you're going to do the actual Field Museum while you're there, if it's even open to explore, but it's awesome in its location, and it's an awesome museum to see. But that's neither here nor there. We're meeting there. We're doing it up with the bottomless mimosa and Bloody Mary pregame experience, and then you return after the game that night. Once you arrive in South Bend, we have a fully prepared and stocked 4+ hour tailgate on Notre Dame's campus that includes a free game day meal, free beer, live entertainment, giveaways, and more. So Game Day Excursions hosted a tailgate in South Bend last season. You may remember the game, Georgia, with over 5,000 having a really good time. They know the lay of the land. Game Day Excursions also has a block of rooms set up at the W Hotel Lakeshore in downtown Chicago. I've stayed there. It's great. For Knoll fans exclusively, the block rate is $189 a night. It's a huge discount. If you've ever been there and you know the location of that, that's a huge discount. There's also a party Friday night in Hopsmith Tavern, hosted by our friends at warchant.com. Boom. So you're going to be with like-minded friends, pulling the rope in the same direction.
All weekend long. You go to the website, too, that Jeff will tell you about. You can see there's also a party boat Friday during the day if you get there early enough.
GameDayExcursions.com. Go there now to secure your reservation. Use the code JCS at checkout. It's a $10 discount every ticket purchased. That's code JCS at checkout, GameDayExcursions.com. It's the 25th anniversary of the Game of the Century in South Bend. Join us in Chicago and at Notre Dame with Game Day Excursions for the Seminole South Bend takeover. Go to GameDayExcursions.com. Use the promo code JCS. Seriously, listen, we're not getting around the fact that is obviously what we're doing. And we're in relationship with them, and it is me advertising for them in a sense. But I'm telling you, like, that is a really good deal. And when Tom and I were talking about this, and he was doing the negotiation with them, we were going through and saying, okay, well, anybody that's going to do this is going to want this, and we're going to need this, and can they provide this as well as part of the price? And, you know, what else? What about tailgating? Can we have that? And they kept saying yes, so long as we talked about, you know, telling people to go there to the website and check it out. And so I think you're going to want to do this. If you're up in the air on that, or you've been thinking, what's the best way to make this happen, go there.
Well, there are all different levels to it as well. So obviously there's just, if you want to do the bus travel by itself, you know, you already have made arrangements for your hotel in Chicago, you got family up there, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can just do the bus. And the bus automatically, if you do the coach service back and forth, then you get the tailgate, which is fully catered. I mean, you don't have to do a damn thing except explore the campus, come back and forth, do whatever it is you want to do. But you don't have to worry about, 80% of the things you usually worry about to go when you're on the road.
It's going to be fun. So I wanted to tell you about that in a shorter segment. Before I sign off on the segment, can I tell you that today, did you know this, is the most lethal day of driving in this country every year? August the 2nd. On average, car wrecks are more likely to kill somebody on this day. Hey, how uplifting is this? Than any other?
What is the significance of August the 2nd? This is randomness
it's
at work,
all
yes?
based on calculations on fatalities from 2012 through 2017. And it's not icy roads. It doesn't appear to be drunken drivers. People want to know why it's just a random date on the calendar that's so lethal. Sunny skies, vacation travelers, the same reasons the month of August is also one of the deadliest, says a researcher at IIHS. The summer, the weather's nice. People last chance they have to go on vacation.
So people aren't thinking clearly. But then there are some back to schools. Like, they're already back in Atlanta. I know that. So maybe it's a blend of those two things. Parents go in places they're not used to driving, and people, worrying about their kids and then looking the wrong way, and bam.
The more I read, and I read an article, I read two of them. One of them was in Fortune magazine, and it said that basically one of the reasons that this is happening, 15,914 fatalities accounted for in August during that study span, is the first week of the month is the greatest prime vacation time across the board on average for the American worker. This is when no matter what your job, this is kind of when people ride the hell out.
That's interesting, because that's a little late for our business. It was 2 weeks ago.
We always think about it in our own way. Yeah. We were like, no, June and July is when you want to get out of Dodge.
When I was a kid, though, this was the end of golf camp that I went to for 10, 12 years, and that was a very involved camp with a tournament at the end. And then we would go away so that's probably right. When you're doing your summer reading and you're getting nervous about going back to school. Remember all those anxieties?
Oh, I'm so glad I don't suffer that anymore.
Now you're just excited to send the kids off to school.
Now I watch my kids get anxiety ridden, and I'm like, that's right. It's going to suck. You got to go back to school.
That's the old Staples commercial. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
The mom and dad are dancing in the aisles as they're filling them up with pencils and markers and all that
I
stuff.
went shopping the other day, and the first thing that I saw when I walked into this particular establishment were Trapper Keepers and the like, and I went, oh, yes.
Walker Bueller's.
That's right, everywhere. Aren't you scheduled to pitch? So I thought to myself, look at that. Pencils, pens, pads. Yes. Into the cart you go. Let's do it up. And I walked in. I did take great pleasure in this. The shoe's on the other foot now, all these years later. Kids, look what I got. School starts very soon. You're all prepared. And I smiled, knowing that they had to get their ass up and out the door every morning.
So I asked my nephew, because we play, this is the technology age we live in. We play video games once a week for an hour. And my two nieces and nephew on the other side of the family, they're happy to go back to school. They like the regiment. I asked this nephew.
My oldest loves school. The youngest not so much.
So you excited? He goes, no. Just like that. He goes, no. I'd prefer to play video games all day. I love video games. If I could play more video games, I would. I said, oh, okay.
How great is that? Probably good you're going back to school then, kid.
You're like me, though. As a kid, like, no, I don't want to go back.
I don't want to go back. I never wanted to go back. Even if I loved my teacher, my classmates, and did well, I was like, no, I'd like the not having to be. Listen, people ask me this all the time. You know, don't you just love your job? Don't you? I mean, do you wake up every day and can't wait to get to work? I love my job. If you gave me the choice to not have one and still take the salary, then I'm not going to work. It's still work.
Right. Just the tone that struck me.
No. That's good.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
TNT.
Service 5-quart conventional oil change with free tire rotations for only $36.95. And full synthetic oil for just $46.95. And no appointments are necessary. Plus, don't forget, you can check out all our service specials by opening our service special tab at craftnissan.com. So if you're tired of driving across town for service, want the very best factory certified technicians, come to Craft Nissan. We service all makes and models. We want to be your one-stop dealer for all your automotive needs. Craft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
At ACE, we believe there's nothing better than helping kids. That's why we've been proud to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals for over 25 years. This Friday through Sunday, get our 5-gallon bucket and 20% off almost anything that fits inside when you donate $5 to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And like ACE, CMN hospitals are local, so the money you donate helps kids near you.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Offer valid at participating stores on regular price merchandise only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So it's not like you would have ever walked into a studio and gotten tired of Eddie Van Halen saying, check out this riff. It's more likely you couldn't wait to get to that studio to hear Eddie Van Halen say, check out this riff. Because that's what you would hear and go, I could do something with this. I mean, think about that. It's just awesome. And he's got a million of them. The king of it. I mean, imagine that gets plugged in, you walk in, probably a little drunk because you're David Lee Roth, and you go, what do we got? What are we working with here? And he does that. We got a winner. We got a winner again. Look at you, you beautiful son of a...
I think my favorite stadium rock song ever, and there's a lot of good ones, even though it's the same cheesy 12 that they play every event you go to for hockey or basketball.
Right.
It's Jump. I mean, how do you not love Jump?
Well,
it's the synth, man.
Here's what's going to make you laugh about Jump. So that's 84, I think. And
yes,
the funny thing about that is I hated it, and I hated that record because those of us who love that and everything that came before that record were appalled at the idea of Eddie Van Halen using a synthesizer or a keyboard. What's with the keyboard solo? You're Eddie Van Halen.
Yep.
I don't need you going do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Any clownish, sorry-ass pop band, new wave nonsense can do that. And there he is in the video going do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yep.
And we're going, grab the guitar. That's what you do. You're not that guy. Stop it, Billy Joel. Get over here and do some things with the guitar, of which you're a god. But now, time does that justice. It's very indicative of the time, and it makes me smile.
You just need a little pop in your life. Sometimes there's a song, and it breaks all the rules. It breaks all of your own self-imposed rules, and you go,
"Boy, that one shattered them."
This is a guilty pleasure. I do very much enjoy this.
Well, but the 13, 14-year-old me was like, "Good God, the day the music died, it's over. We're getting no more Diver Down." No Van Halen 1 or 2. No Women and Children First. We're getting this. Grab your bubble gum, everybody. We were all so mad. Oh, I was furious. Until I saw the video for Hot for Teacher. I went, all right, well, at least we've got our sexism in the right place.
Oh, well.
That's right there.
That wasn't changing for some time.
Never. It was never going to change for David Lee Roth. Because even solo, we got a little Yankee Rose in the video for that, and that is something. And then Steve Vai took over. You know what today is?
Then there was Billy Squier with his infamous video.
Oh, Billy.
What was the name of that song? I put you on the spot. And
Not Lonely Is the Night, is it? My Kind of Lover? No. I can't remember now. I think it might be...
I heard it on Sirius XM the other day, and it made me smile.
Well, it made you think of how ridiculous is...
I'd never seen the video till last year.
Rock Me Tonight.
Yeah, that's it. Because you said you got to see this video, and last year I did, wow, that's...
Well, the thing that breaks my heart is that somebody told him to do that and then played it up. It's like they were having a joke at his expense, and he just didn't have the wherewithal to know.
But he embraced it at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, he was all in. He trusted this person, Tom, quite clearly.
Yes. Yes, he did.
He because the inner voice said, Billy, I don't think this is going to play. I mean, look at yourself in the mirror. Look at what you're doing. This isn't going to go over well with the audience that you're seeking to win over.
It's like they're playing it back, and he goes, guys, are we sure?
Yeah. I don't like the tank top for starters, but that said, I also have leg warmers on. You're okay? Guys, are we?
You're okay with these dance moves, guys? I'm
kind of humping the ground a little bit here, and you think this is going to go over well with the pimple-faced, 13, 14-year-old kid that loves me rocking, Stroke Me and all that? The song? The
right.
Stroke,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, what are we doing here?
I don't know.
Well, it's still tragic because it ruined his career. You know what today is? Yeah, we've celebrated it all afternoon, but for those of you hopping in the car.
The coach's poll.
Oh, it's a holiday.
The coach's poll.
Boom.
The coach's poll.
Did Lee say it today? I haven't listened to a single one of our local ESPN reports.
Lee's come and gone as the years have worn on.
Is he still working for us in any way?
Somewhat. Our director of sports centers has decided to go in his own direction at times. Yeah, but we'll take Lee's if I'm running it. But then somebody likes to put the Nationals on. So
I got you. I got you. So this is the way that reads when it came out. You knew you'd be excited, just as I am, because this is now an annual tradition. I want to read for you from Twitter, because this is our, in many ways, I think, addition to society's and really the popular lexicon. We've introduced this day as like a national holiday.
The coach's poll.
So here's the first. I woke up to this. I put the over-under at 10 for the amount of times we hear the coach's poll audio clip today.
The coach's poll.
Followed by that's what you do. A-Pop writes, does this mean we get to hear about the coach's poll on the Jay Cameron Show? Yes, indeed. And then Chris writes, today's the day. Hashtag the coach's poll.
The coach's poll.
Yeah, and they were coming fast and furious, the tweets, that is.
The coach's poll.
Yeah, I like them.
Here's what the poll looks like. Alabama #1. No way. Bama? What a reach. Clemson #2. Ohio State #3, which you might say is a bit iffy as we sit here today. Georgia 4, Oklahoma 5, Washington 6, Wisconsin 7. Let's play this game. Let's go through these teams again, and I'll tell you the ones that are fraudulent. We should get the goats ready.
Oh, the goats?
Get the goats ready. I'm going to give you frauds, and then what do we do for underrated teams? What do we do for teams that are going to be way better than their position in the coaches poll?
That's a good question.
Can we introduce today on the show, I feel like it, a new soundbite that is for those that are underrated?
Well, we have about 20 some odd minutes left to do it.
We got can we, let's get it in today's version. The 5 o'clock hour version here is what we got as we're signing off. Let's introduce those that uplift, those that signify better standing than they're allotted. That's a tough one.
I don't know what would do that.
Goats are rather random, so it can be anything, Tom. We use fraudulent goats because I just made it up. Fraudulent goats. Do we want fantastic. Never gets old. If I get a place with a lot of land when I move houses, I'm getting goats. Just to have them around. You'd come over just to laugh at the goats in the backyard.
I would. No, that was one of the hardest parts about getting used to playing golf in England was you're used to birds chirping, and now you're hearing sheep and goats in your backswing. So instead of chirp, chirp, you're hearing
But it's great, right?
Yeah.
They're just talking to each other, having a big day. How about a soaring eagle as the soundbite for those that are going to rise up like a phoenix?
Okay.
So you find a...
So I have to go get that. You're going to read the poll, the coach's poll.
I'm going to, indeed.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a description of the coach's poll. And then you are going to have in place I bet that's the easiest YouTube find in the world, man. Soaring eagle, falcon, some sort of screechy greatness.
I did used to. Yeah, there was one I had for specific circumstances.
I know I put you on the spot as well, but this is what we've added to the popular culture here: the fraudulent goats and soon the soaring eagle, or something along those lines. Anyhow, Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, Georgia 4. I got no problem with any of those, other than I think it could be a season of tumult for Ohio State if this plays out. Oklahoma, Washington, Wisconsin, Miami. I need the goats at Miami, number 8. Fire up them there fraudulent goats at number 8 with Miami, sir. Not until you get a quarterback. In the season with 3 straight losses, still don't have a quarterback. Love your defense. Not number 8. 9, Penn State. I think you could put the Eagle. I think you could soar that Eagle for Penn State. I think that, that sounds kind of crazy at the end. The first screech is good, then it gets weird at the end. Like he turns into Axl Rose.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
really
exactly.
weird, yeah. I don't know what he was doing. Listen to that again. It's Axl Rose at the end. He's just coming into the nest. Axel's like, how you doing, Eagle? Hi. He's climbing in. Bloated 6
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
Cover for almost 20 years when they won it all in 1996.
Are you tired of getting the same two-piece kits? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener in DeWalt have your answer. Buy a 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit with 2 4-amp-hour batteries and receive a free 1/4-inch 3-speed impact kit. That's correct. You get 2 DeWalt 3-speed impact kits for the price of 1, only at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. While you're there, check out the power of freedom. FlexVolt 60-volt tools from chainsaws to string trimmers, blowers, and even compressors. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
At ACE, we believe there's nothing better than helping kids. That's why we've been proud to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals for over 25 years. This Friday through Sunday, get our 5-gallon bucket and 20% off almost anything that fits inside when you donate $5 to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And like ACE, CMN hospitals are local, so the money you donate helps kids near you.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Offer valid at participating stores on regular price merchandise only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Nanny, tell fast talking Fanny.
When she was still alive, she was fantastic. Played down in downtown St. Pete back in the day, buddy.
How about that?
Yeah, she Coco Taylor lived a long time. Talented. Hey, so I was thinking during the break, before we do probables here, that that hawk sounded familiar, and then I realized, of course it did. And perhaps we ought to alter what we use for those that will overachieve based on their ranking to where that sound clip originally came from. That was the hawk used in our Von Stryker clip. I'm sure of it, right?
Nate Von Stryker!
There it is. There it is. And that actually works better and reintroduces it to the show. For those that never heard it, it'll sound kind of strange, but that is perfect because Bjorn Warner is dearly missed around these parts.
Yeah, definitely.
And he was an overachiever if you will. A guy that came over and had no real football skill, was seen playing basketball and turned into a football player and was a really good college football player.
By all accounts, a good guy, too. I had some people, it was my era of college.
I loved him. He was fun to talk to.
And they said he was solid as a rock. He came here on a mission to be done as early as possible.
Wasn't he married?
Yes, to provide for his family. That was the whole thing. He was very adult about coming to college and getting done what he needed to get done.
Well, he got paid. I mean, he's all right.
First-round money, yeah.
Yeah, first-round money. That'll work.
To go in a 3-4, that just, that's
really
unfortunate.
Never made any sense. Maybe he just was an elite college football player, which he was. He just lacked the get-off as a defensive end in the NFL. That happens, man. That's a hard position. You see that. Did you see the report that came out the other day that who's our defensive end last year who didn't do anything?
Josh Sweat?
Yeah, is killing it.
That descriptor is wonderful.
He's killing it. No, now he's hurt? He got hurt today?
He got hurt today.
Oh, well, he was kicking ass.
How serious is it, though? We can't just leave the people hanging?
Yeah, don't know. He got carted off.
Oh, boy, okay.
Well, he was killing it. Yesterday they were talking about him, pure athleticism, lightning quick off the edge. I'm like, we got video from years worth of him being anything but lightning quick off the edge.
Yeah, Matthew said last he heard of it was around 2:30. So I'll do some digging, see before the show's over.
Man, I'm going to wish him well. That's a shame. All right. Let's do probables. Here we go. Fire it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Reds, Nats, Tyler Mahle, Max Scherzer. Marlins, Phillies, Pablo Lopez, Nick Pivetta. I thought Pablo Lopez just pitched.
Pablo Lopez versus John Smith.
Atlanta and the Mets, Mike Foltynewicz. Old Folty, as I call him. Jason Vargas.
Woo.
Not good.
That's a W in the win column for the Braves.
Vargas, when he starts on Thursdays, Tom, this will be the 5th time in 11 starts this season that he started on a Thursday.
Yeah, like an 11 ERA?
14.
Oh, there you go.
It's a 14-14 ERA. Bravos with the easy win tonight. Get to your local bookie. Yankees, Red Sox, CC Sabathia, Brian Johnson. No longer the lead singer of AC/DC, unfortunately, but now pitching for the Red Sox. Orioles, Rangers, Andrew Kashner, and Yovani Gallardo. We got the Padres and the Cubs. Robbie Erlin, Mike Montgomery. Let's go, Padres. I think we could all, as Americans, get behind that. Brewers, Dodgers, Jules Chassin, Clayton Kershaw. Giants, D-backs, Madison Bumgarner, Zach Greinke. Okay. Blue Jays, Mariners, Tyler Clippard, and Felix Hernandez. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
It called to you. I lost you.
You want me to say who's coming up next?
The soccer guys are coming up next, and then we're throwing into pregame coverage of Braves
The
and
Braves?
Mets.
I love the soccer guys. If you've not listened to that show, you should stay aboard and listen to it tonight. They do great work, and I'm not even kidding. It is really insightful, really interesting. It's entertaining. Just an hour. Is it a half hour?
Half hour. Yeah.
Half hour, straightforward, getting to it. I'm learning stuff every time I listen to that show, and I listen to it every week.
Yeah, they're dialed in.
No, they're good, really good, talented,
Andy and Dave,
knowledgeable.
from the British perspective, Premier League, and then the American soccer perspective, you've got a wealth of information in 20, 25 minutes there, yeah.
It's really good. It's a great show. Andy's fantastic. Not that Dave isn't, but Andy I like me some Andy. Knows his stuff is funny.
Well, and that accent, it
adds to it.
It adds to it for information purposes. I mean, if you're like looking for an economic report, there's nothing better than a good, English accent.
And you believe it. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's true.
Right. I'm not going to fact check him at all.
I think he's got that down. You're like, well, he could be a loon. And he's not. He played professional soccer. He's not a loon.
Well connected, too.
Yeah, well connected. By the way, I was looking at this as we sign off. Felix Hernandez, King Felix, as he was known for so long. Man, he gave up 7 earned runs in 2 2/3 inning last time out. He's 8-9 on the year with nearly a 6 ERA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it goes, it goes.
Well, and he needs to find his old form if they're going to hold off the A's in the West, because the A's are hard charging. And if you look at the run differentials, at some point, Seattle is going to lose some games, like a lot.
No, it's a shame. I just hate seeing classy, really, really long-standing, dominant players who did their job and did it really well, and you could just fall off a cliff. He is falling off a freaking cliff. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Stay tuned to the Soccer Guys. If you haven't heard, it's really good. It's up next.